So hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq. And it is the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even. I'd like to also say a big giant thank you and welcome to Donovan, my partner in crime. I'd like to say a giant welcome to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, because I'm going to put the word try. We try to read each and every one of your comments, but lately we've been getting a lot of comments. So we do read everybody's comment at least, I would say, 5 times. I don't know. So anyway, thank y'all for being here.
Real quick, you forgot one of the most important people of the crew, Marcus Guyton.
You ain't let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
And I also like to thank Marcus Guyton for everything that he does behind the scenes on Facebook and making the show go further. I forgot to tell him, but I'm sure he'll catch on, and he will do what he always does. Come and help a sister out. So anyway, as you guys know, there was a shooting in Buffalo, New York. It was a mass shooting from that of a self-proclaimed white supremacist by the name of Peyton Gendron. And we're going to get a little bit more or a lot more into that as the show go on. And Donovan, what say you before we get started?
Well, I want to say, first of all, welcome to the show. We know it's Sunday. There's a lot of things you guys can be doing on a Sunday, but you guys have chose to share it with us. Do us a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and do us another favor. Spread the word by sharing on your own platform so that this word gets out a little bit more and people could really understand and what we are saying and get the message out, because the new Black media is where a lot of people are going to get the real news of what's going on in Black America. So, like, share, and subscribe. And we're welcome that you guys are here.
Yes, indeed. So I'm going to get to you guys' comments just before I get started with my little monologue here. So Moni, how you doing? Happy Sunday to you as well. And she's wishing you a happy birthday, Donovan. Robin, how you doing? And let's see here. Fight for Black. You say no, Queen Demetra. The immigrants who claim to have found our country did it violently. Therefore, our protection will come only through violence. Okay. Beverly, how you doing? Says rest in peace to the victims of racist mass shooting in Buffalo, New York. Yes, indeed. And Bo, how you doing? Says because they do not want Black people to get revenge. And Jacqueline, how you doing? Says I do not believe that we will if it's not attached to some other group or stipulation. Merino Valley News first. How you doing? Says the only protection is citizens carrying. Black Unity. How you doing? Says we're going to have to, let's see, defend ourselves first by bearing arms. And Thunder, how you doing? And Tammy, I'm going to say it like that. I want to jack your name up. How you doing? And Tawana, hello. Tracy, how you doing? And Angela, you say we need to protect ourselves since they want to segregate us. Cool. Just like them, I've always advocated for the use of I used to be skeptical, I think, of aimless white people in our spaces. Yes. And IKTT, how you doing? Says as long as the KKK has high positions. No. Damon, how you doing? Says positive vibes from Southern California to the Black First family. Yes, indeed. And who else is on here that I did not get the comments? Queen Abby, how you doing? Hello to you. And Sunlight, how you doing? All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Again, first we should say RIP to the 10 victims that lost their lives due to a white supremacist who walked into a Tops supermarket in Buffalo, New York, and he started to fire. Actually, he started to fire from the parking lot where it said that he shot 3 people. So the 10 victims were all Black, and so 10 victims are all Black that died, and then there was 1 that was injured, and then 2 white people that were injured. Now, they said that Peyton, that's the name of the 18-year-old shooter, targeted that specific market because it is in a predominantly Black neighborhood where, mostly Black people go shop at that store. Now, he also live streamed his terror on a platform called Twitch, which, Twitch said they had nothing to do with it and they're horrified and all of that by what happened. And so he went throughout the store and he killed grandmothers, activists. The security guard that was guarding the store, if you will, was a Black man who was also a retired Buffalo, New York police officer. And he, picked that job up as a security guard. And they actually said that his mother had worked for that store for many years before. And so just different people from all walks of life in our community was aimlessly and just viciously, I should say, not aimlessly, but viciously murdered by that of a white supremacist. Now, when they apprehended him, they took him alive with not one scratch. In fact, the lady that was across the street, she said she just happened to be out there when she saw it kind of unfold, and she saw when they apprehended him that he was allowed to take his stuff off of his vest, and the police, didn't shoot him down like they would have of anybody else who would have even just twitched, right, or moved slightly. They didn't gun him down. In fact, they, took him in without incident. But they did say before they apprehended him that he did point the gun to his chin, I guess gesturing that he was maybe going to take his own life. So again, he has now pleaded not guilty, even though he has put out, some saying 106-page to 180-page manifesto, quoting a whole bunch of people. And Tucker Carlson of Fox News is being compared to that of Charlie Manson, and that Charlie Manson was convicted, but he never murdered one person. He used mind control and used a lot of rhetoric on his followers, and the followers committed the heinous acts. And so they're likening Tucker Carlson to that, and that a lot of white supremacists do quote him, and Tucker Carlson and a lot of white supremacists has this replacement theory going on, in that everybody else is replacing white people. So now y'all get to pay attention to why Roe v. Wade is, in danger, because white people, white supremacists feel like they are in danger. And so this is really a ploy, that being overturning Roe v. Wade, to stop their women from getting rid of their children. Okay, that was just kind of like a side note, so y'all can see where I was going with that. And he also, in his manifesto, quoted the birth rates are very low, and basically that white women needed to start reproducing so that white people do not get replaced. Okay, so now that I've said all that, yes?
Well, I just have a question in what you just said. Who is making these laws that allow all of these other groups to come here?
Well, let me get to that. Okay, so and I hold that question. I'm going to get to that. Okay, so now the question that I have posed for today is, will we finally get protection? So what protection are we talking about? We are talking about that, like the ones that the Asians got for when they're, during the pandemic, they showed all of these videos of Asians being attacked and, verbally and physically, and right away, lickety split, they got a bill passed, an anti-hate, bill for them, and it passed unanimously, just about, I would say, probably unanimously through the Congress. The Senate signed on, and the House signed on right away, right? But Black people who have gone through the most horror in this country, bar none. As Farrakhan once said, the things that Black people have been through in this country will make a brass monkey shed a tear, right? And so here we are, still no protection. I want to show you guys something. Oops, not that. So this is actually the 18-year-old white supremacist who, said that he was on a mission to, kill Black people and uplift white people, right? So that's him. Thought y'all should see his picture. And this is the supermarket here, Tops Supermarket. I think it's Tops Friendly Market or something like that, where the shooting took place in a predominantly Black neighborhood. So those are the people out there after the shooting took place. And Joe Biden, he said something at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service. It was the 41st service. And I guess they were commemorating that of officers that were lost in the line of duty. And he said a lot of things, but this really here stuck out to me. He said, any act of domestic terrorism, including an act perpetrated in the name of repugnant white nationalist ideology, is antithetical to everything we stand for in America. Hate must have no safe harbor. We must do everything in our power to end hate-fueled domestic terrorism. Okay? Now, one word in this thing here, this paragraph really stood out to me, and it was this word here, antithetical. Okay, say that 3 times, which is the directly opposed or contrasted, mutually incompatible. So let's read that again. Any act of domestic terrorism, including an act perpetrated in the name of a repugnant white nationalist ideology, is antithetical, which means it's completely opposite, okay? It's the opposite to everything we stand for in America. Hate must have no safe harbor. We must do everything in our power to end hate-fueled domestic terrorism. Right there. Everything else he said, I did not care about. You know why? Because this is the lie that he wanted to stand 10 toes down on. We know that America is built on racism. We know that America is built on terrorizing Black people. From the time we got over here on those slave ships, even to this very moment, there's a Black person somewhere being terrorized by white supremacy. And he is saying that what happened yesterday was completely the opposite of what America is about. I would like to ask Mr. President, are you high? Are you partaking in those safe smoking kits that you passed out with the crack pipe? But he can say something like that because he knows that specifically with Black people who he benefited from his presidential election in getting into the White House. He knows that somebody in, Black misleadership or somebody with some influence will say, well, yes, you're right, Mr. President. It's against America. And it's not. We must start debunking the lies that go out, because when he lies like that, what he does is protect white supremacy by saying, oh, America's not about white supremacy. Why America is white supremacy. So we're going to get to your comments, but I'm going to give it to Donovan right now. But what we also need to ask ourselves is this: who are we going to continue to vote for? Are we going to continue to vote for oppression? Now, listen, I'm not blaming this on us as Black people. But what I'm saying is, when we walk our asses into those voting booths and we continue to vote for a party who will not protect us, even though we are the original people of this country that have been terrorized in every way, shape, and form, they still don't think it's important to put protections. And I ain't talking about that Emmett Till bill. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about something that specifically says Black people. Even still, they don't think we need to be protected. And if we continue to walk in those voting polls and put a check mark by these people's names, and I'm talking about these people, I'm talking about Democrats, then we're voting for oppression, period.
Well, great points. But I just want to say this. You got to vote blue no matter who. We don't need no qualified immunity. We don't need no qualified immunity. Just come to my fish fry. We don't need any qualified immunity. As long as we get an infrastructure bill that's going to go to white people who have major construction companies. That's what we need. Why y'all keep fucking with Jim Clyburn? He's been working on the reparations bill for 30 years, which is nothing to brag about. Unlike a lot of you guys, I'm sick and tired of talking. On this show, on my podcast, and on other shows, I've said several times, we have plenty of Black people in positions of power to make change. But just like Demetra said, you're the ones that keep going into those voting booths, voting these people in office and not holding them accountable. How many times have you been on your job and you want a raise and they go, well, we got to give you a performance report or an evaluation? Why aren't you giving the people that you put in the office an evaluation and saying, okay, we let you in there, but you didn't do a goddamn thing, so we're going to give you a raise anyway? Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. But I also say this, Demetra knows this. I was raised in Asia, in Japan, and I have a lot of Asian friends, and I'm not hating on my Asian friends, okay? I'm a little jealous. But I noticed that none of them, even though they sympathize with what Black people go through, they don't vocalize it. My Hispanic friends, they don't vocalize it. I saw a video that Demetra did yesterday, and she's absolutely right. It is so sad, and I'm going to cut this short, because at the end of the day, with all this manosphere, divestment, Black woman versus Black man bullshit, we don't have no friends. All we have is each other. And this is a direct example of why we need to cut the bullshit. Go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. So I'm going to get to y'all comments so I can try to keep up today. So where did I leave off? Angelique says we need to protect ourselves since they want to segregate us. Cool, just like them. I've always advocated for use. Oh, I read that already. I'm sorry about that. So let me get down to where I left off. And facts, not feelings. How you doing? You say peace and love, family. Things have changed for Black people in USA. Time to organize and be ready to defend Black people. Yeah, you know, we're going to have to, I mean, the Second Amendment applies to us as well. You know, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, it's only in our neighborhoods where they have the buy back the guns campaigns, right? You want to buy back our guns, give you a gift card to some supermarket or something and have a nice day. But I mean, guns are used to protect you, right? And let's see here. And Sunlight says, did I read your comment already? It says, hello, rip to the victims. Let's see here. John says, we still don't get that we are at war. Yes, indeed. And we need to prepare ourselves, right? And Pioneer, how you doing? Says, good afternoon. Beautiful Queen and King. Yes, indeed. And Thunder says, where is the Congressional Black Caucus? Why haven't they spoke up and out yet about the racist attack in Buffalo? But they are so vocal about the other groups, all the other groups. The CBC needs to go. Yeah, they're part of that crowd too, that we continue to send to Washington to do more of nothing for us and do stuff for everybody else. And they were 100% on board with. And listen, I'm not saying that the Asians shouldn't be protected. That's not what I'm saying. But what about us? You know? And yes, indeed, if y'all could please like, share, and subscribe, we would love and appreciate you.
Yes, above anybody else in this country who needs to be protected, it should be Black people. I have yet, maybe somebody can show me a video of Asian person being choked out. I have yet to see an Asian religious area being massacred down in their church of worship. I have yet to see these things, but yet they got a bill on the first try.
Well, we know what that's about. They have unity and they have money. So where unity and money is involved, they have influence. And Angela says, I don't feel defeated. I feel vindicated. Okay. And let's see here. Moni says, I'm seeing where Black people in New York are already due to start protesting in New York, I think next week. So they're sending standard raccoons like Sharpton to say that all people need protection, which is a bunch of BS. And I've even seen where pastors are saying we should pray for the victim even. It's crazy. And Donovan said, now do you understand why Black people above and beyond everyone else need federal protection? Yes, indeed. And let's see here. Pioneer says, to answer the question of this lie, Black people will get protection when we stand up and protect ourselves. That too, brother. Hey, Kiki, how you doing? He says, hi, Queen Demetria and Sir Donovan. Hi, peeps. This matter is so upsetting and heartbreaking. My prayers truly go out to these families. That man threatened harm against his school last year. No way should someone have not had this guy on the radar. Yes. So they said when he was 17 years old at school, he threatened to, shoot up the school, and they took him into a mental evaluation for like a day and a half, and they released him back out into the world, if you will. But he was posting all online, his, theories and manifestos and things like that. And it didn't even raise an eyebrow of anybody until, he walked into the supermarket and did what he did to our people yesterday. So, but the other part is I think we need to also include that the police are white supremacists. And it's a known fact that they are linked to the Klan. So that's not really a big secret.
Yes, FBI memo came out about 3 years ago where they said that white supremacists have infiltrated police departments all across the nation. A lot of these white supremacists join the military to get their experience, and then they get out of the military, and guess who gets hired at the police department?
Yep. And Lone, how you doing? Let's see here. And IKTT says they took him out of there gently. Yes, they did, without a scratch. The Pioneer says there was no excuse for them to capture that fool alive except for racist reasons. They just killed an unarmed Black man in Grand Rapids a month ago, and he didn't kill anyone. Yeah, and they just shot down the grandma, a Hispanic grandma. She was wielding a knife because she was having mental health issues, as they did. Shot her, and they weren't even any danger or any of that, and they shot her dead in front of her family in her doorway. So,
well, you guys want to hear something crazy? How many of you guys heard about the racketeering charge in Atlanta by the black DA there that recently got elected. She's going to charge all these rappers, black rappers, with RICO statutes, but let the white rapper go. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with.
Talking about Jack Harlow. Yeah, Jack Harlow was never even involved in that. That was something that came out of Twitter as a joke, and they ran away with it. And she didn't have the information to say, yeah, that was a Twitter joke, because it's it's like an inside joke about Jack Harlow and being in black spaces and stuff.
Right. What I'm saying is, if they can charge rappers with the RICO statute for what they say, why aren't they charging Tucker Carlson for what he's saying?
Well, that they should. But then why aren't they charging, the people in Congress that's incited the insurrection? That had a lot to do with it. You're going to get the same answer probably, right? And IKTT says, not a scratch on that guy. Yes, indeed. Amoni says, nothing really is going to get too much done. They know they're going to have to sentence, I think that man, but I'm so done with the election party that I could care less at this moment. Pioneer says, now this kid was only 18 years old, so where did he get that type of bigoted mentality unless they are born with it? Absolutely. And he sounds like he's been doing it for some time. So yeah, of course, that was taught to him. Probably sits up, watch Fox News with his family, every night. And, I've seen a little bit of Tucker Carlson stuff, and I'm like, it just don't even sound believable at all,
And Tucker Carlson's one of those guys that was probably at school and, probably got picked on a lot. He's one of those type guys. And now he's sitting here talking all this stuff because he knows that he's a protected person.
Yep. Cortez, how you doing? Says, hey, Dimitri and Donovan. And no, we will not get the protection that we need. Well, let's ask this question. What do we need to do? And the Pioneer says, Queen, a law is no damn protection. We need to stop looking to some damn law or some white man in a suit signing a document to offer us protection. We need to step up and protect ourselves. I'm going to catch up to these comments. I just want to take a little break here. Yes, we do need to step up and protect ourselves. Okay. But I think we also need to back it up and say, first, we need to unify. It's almost like fairy tale land to hear black people saying, not you, Pioneer, but I'm just saying in general, we need to pick up arms and protect ourselves. First, we got to get on the same page. Black people are not on the same page. And to think that we are going to pick up arms and all of a sudden maybe storm the Capitol or, have a shoot them up with the po-po and all of that, I just think that's unrealistic. And look at that of the NFA. Where are they at? We don't even hear about them anymore. And I'm not saying we should not try to do something, but I think we need to look at this from an intellectual standpoint and say we are outnumbered and we are outgunned and we do not have any unity. And so until black people get on that page, but part of the reason why we don't have a protected federal protection is because black people are not on the same page. We keep voting for oppression instead of saying we're not going to vote for anybody who does not serve us and do something for us specifically, right? So to say that we should be, racking it back and running out there with guns and stuff, I just think we're going to get a lot of people in trouble until we start at step one, and that's really unifying. And Donovan says, how many of y'all saw A Higher Learning? Remember, they came at Remy in the end. They were talking to him. They were talking to him even though they knew he was the shooter. And Majestic, how you doing? He says, how could Mexican street vendors get protection from getting assaulted from black people? I think that was something you said, Donovan. Rick C, how you doing? Long time no see. He says, my people, my people, my people. Hello, Dimitri and Donovan. Hello back at you. And Kiki says, yep, I don't deny that sisters aren't getting abortions, but I've been saying this Roe v. Wade matter is not about black babies. It's about white babies all day long, all day. Queen Abby, how you doing? Says they have to do a study before passing laws for us. And that study is 20, 30 years in the making. It's like, are y'all halfway through the study book yet? Like, what's taking you so long,
And quit fucking with Clyburn. Quit fucking with him.
And he's referencing a video that was caught of Clyburn getting upset that somebody was asking him about reparations. And Queen Abby says they have to, I read that. And Cortez says, yes, I remember the movie Higher Learning. And Donovan says, what is black leadership doing about it? These are the people that black people vote in election after election. What did Jim Bojangles Clyburn say? Yes, indeed. And Macaroni Mac, how you doing? It says freedom on deck. And how you doing, Aaron? And the Pioneer says, now what gets me is how all of these nickels are standing around staring with their arms folded, and half of them got gat in the house and some in their cars, but didn't use them on the devil. Donovan says these young white boys are being fueled into white racism in the home. Why? That ain't nothing new, right? They've been doing that since forever. Thunder says we need that spirit of Robert F. Williams again. This is too much, and it needs to stop. We need the spirit of the deacons for defense again. We need a gathering of old men moment again. Stay ready, fam. But I always ask, what y'all waiting on, brothers? What y'all waiting on? Sean, how you doing?
We're waiting for y'all to give us the word since y'all run everything. The women run the world.
No. We ain't gonna do that today, brother. And Rick, see you saying happy birthday, Donovan. Yes, indeed. And let me just catch up to all these comments. Y'all still talking about when I was doing my monologue. So I'm gonna catch all the way up here. And Tanya, you say Trump was better than this Hitler 2.0 in office now. Watch out now. And yes, indeed, IKTT run that HR 1242, but they're still, working on HR 40. They're studying reparations. David, how you doing? He said Herschel Walker got his back. We got to love everybody and forgive the shooter. In his mind is like, yeah, no. And let's see here. Let me catch up. Brandy, how you doing? Oh, my comments did something weird. Where did it go? I jumped up. Hold on a second. I'll catch up. I'm looking for Brandy's. Sometimes my comments jump up and then I have to start over. Okay, hold on. I think I found it. Brandy says, I'm really upset. I have family in Buffalo. Well, I hope they are all okay and no one got hurt in that terrorist act, because it is an act of terrorism. Macaroni says black people are too vague in the legislation policy. It should say the American freedmen, but I get what you're saying. Absolutely. T3, how you doing? He says, you have the right to defend yourself. Absolutely. Robbie says, I'm not voting blue no matter who my vote is for sale. I don't owe the Democratic Party nothing. I know that's right. AB Promotions, how you doing? He said, big facts, Donovan. And Tanya says, people might as well have voted for Kanye. He would have been better. All right now. And Jasmine, how you doing? And Kiki says, I'm tired of both parties. It's time to stop allowing them to force us to choose between two evils. Even the lesser two evils is still evil in my book all day long. And Macaroni, you say, good point, recovering Democrat. And IKTT says 30 years. What the F? Tanya says no reparations, no vote. Yes, indeed. The Pioneer says this issue is beyond politics or religion. It doesn't matter who's in office. If you're a damn coward or too stupid to stand up and defend your family and community, it will make no difference. Well, I would say this in all fairness to those people in Buffalo. Don't sound like they really knew, because it was an ambush, right? It was an ambush. He came there with tactical gear and all that on, and he came there. They said that he unloaded a couple of times and reloaded and all that. So those people, they like you going to the grocery store, right? Like I saw a picture of a brother that was involved in that. He was shot and he had a blanket over him. Obviously, he had been killed. And it really got to me because it's like that man was going into the store. He didn't think he was going to go to the store and not come home alive. So I don't know if that's where you're going, Pioneer. And I don't think that you are, but I just think it's kind of unfair to put the burden on those people who were just going. I know most black people, and a lot of those people were elderly women. So they were probably going to get their Sunday dinner. You know how we do it. We have Sunday dinner. They're probably going shopping Saturday evening or whatever to prepare for Sunday. So how could they know? You know what I mean? And Amanda, how you doing? You says, I heard he was found not guilty. And who? And he said, I know Peyton not guilty, but not found there, not yet, because it hasn't gotten that far. Macaron says, does this channel have a YouTube? This is fired. Oh, yes, I'm on YouTube. So by the same name, Demetra K, come on over to YouTube. And you can see most of the comments, because that's where most of the comments come from. Antoinette, how you doing? You say facts. And Dearness, how you doing? Says the Democrats keep sending the good house Negroes into black communities, selling fake news and accomplishment. Yep, and they're going to continue to do it. until we shun them, right? And Tanya says, Moni, okay, you're talking to Moni. And let's see here. IKTT says, I promise they're not getting my vote for nothing. It's trash to me. We shouldn't be voting. Absolutely. What are we voting for, right? And Cortez says, I agree. We need to cut the BS towards each other. Black men versus black women is BS all day long. This is my chance of growth and positive fun. How you doing? He says, I noticed that we all live in the same neighborhood as so-called people of color and black people. Yes, indeed. And you also say people in the neighborhood look just like me. That's poor, but you don't see white folks living like this. Nah, they don't. Well, you know, they kind of have the upper hand here in America. And another thing white people do, and I will say this about them, is that when they send somebody to whatever office it is and that person ain't doing their job, guess what they do? They get their ass up out of there. But us, we go with, oh, Maxine, oh, she's been in there since 1991, reclaiming her time. And Sheila Jackson Lee, who had a free baby formula giveaway. Mm-hmm. Baby formula giveaway. And it was 2 little bitty small packs of baby formula, 2 bottles of water and something else. And people stood in line for like 7 hours plus for that. But she'll call that an accomplishment. Like, well, I did get y'all some formula. We'll get into that conversation because I have my ideologies on that.
Right. Jim Clyburn's been in there since 1993. Barbara Lee, been in there since 1994. I mean, all these people came in the early 90s, and what have they accomplished? That's why you guys need to check out my podcast, Black Politicians Ain't.
Yes, Donovan, please put that in the comment section so they can follow that. Yes, indeed, we do need to defend ourselves. And I'm going to just keep going down here to some of these other comments so I could catch up. Paula, how you doing? It says it's right there in Revelations chapter 1, verse 13 through 15. Jesus is black, and Revelations 4, God is, and I think your comment cut off, but I'll catch up to it. Pamela, how you doing? Robin says, Clyburn said at the fish fry that we need to work harder and stop all that foolish talk about reparations. Yeah, because he's gotten his reparations at the age of 83. He's got all the money he can handle from selling black people up the river, especially like getting, Joe Biden in the office. It was because of Jim Clyburn and his, speaking to black people in South Carolina, that Joe Biden is in the White House because his campaign was not doing good, right? In fact, he was like dead last until Clyburn gave it a big push.
I want you guys to do your homework on these black politicians, all of them. They get in office. They've been in there for years. What's the first thing they do? They enrich their families. Jim Clyburn's grandson just received $30,000 to $60,000 from his campaign fund. Yes, it's legal, but is it ethically right?
Right. And let's see here. This is my choice of growth and positive fun. It says, I noticed that everybody in my hood look like me. That's poor. And you don't see no other nation of people living in a community that's poor like us black people and so-called people of color. Yes, indeed. And I'm going to skip down some of these other comments. And Jay, how you doing? It says, Black Americans have no friends, but we stand up for other nation of people. And some of those people we stand up for have hatred for us also. You better believe it. Hey, Don, thank you so much for the donation. We love and appreciate you. And let's see here. Where to go? And the Pioneer says, all of those black folks standing around in t-shirts with massive arms and big legs, healthy, nothing stopping them from rushing that man or getting a weapon and taking him out. But they didn't. Well, I should say this too, if I didn't already, the security guard, which was a black man, did fire on him, but it was not effective because he had the bulletproof vest on. And then, he was killed trying to subdue or stop the terrorists, but it did not work. So again, and Arkita, how you doing? It says Grand Rising's Black First Family. Yes, indeed. Paul says we need to email or write that as our black leaders and the rest of them. Yeah, they just need to go, right? Boston Nova Ross, how you doing? He says, where is the RICO charges against these scumbag anti-black gangs online? And Mark, how you doing? He says Greenwich, Connecticut. Yeah, Connecticut. Says race soldiers. And Paulie says we need to. Okay, so I got that. And CRTT Psalm, how you doing? Says black women. I ain't gonna read that comment. And you say yes. Where is the RICO charges? Okay. And Rick C says sloganary kills people. He says no dub S and guns do. And Jasmine, he says yes indeed. RICO charges for everyone but Jack Harlow. So that Jack Harlow thing was a running joke. I mean, Twitter started the joke, and people ran away with it as gospel. So it doesn't sound like Jack Harlow was ever even involved. It was just, y'all know how we do. We get a little bit of information and then we run away with it as the gospel, right? So anyway, that's what I understand. Tanya say, why didn't they bum rush and take that white supremacist beast out with a sniper in Buffalo? Can I say something to y'all? If you've never been in a shootout, which I've been in 2 places where gunfire took place and I actually seen somebody get shot. But I just think for us to say what those people should have did is like Monday morning quarterbacking. You know what I mean? Because again, those people, how would they know? Do you go to the grocery store and be like, there's probably going to be a white supremacist in here. He's going to take you. How do you know that, right?
Right. How many of you guys see I'm going to get you, sucker? Remember that part where they started firing gunfire and Keenan Ivan Wayans, he was the army guy. And he said, oh my God, they're shooting. And they asked him, they said, hey, I thought you were in the army. He goes, yeah, I was, but I've never been in war. So, yeah.
Absolutely. So, hold on a second here. I want to make sure I get it right because I always tend to get it wrong, even though I should know this. So RICO, somebody says, who was it that said, Dorothy, how you doing? Says, I'm tired of this country. What is RICO? RICO is Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. And that really came in during and around Prohibition, around the organized crime era. So that's what
basically what the RICO Act says is, it's like what they're trying to get, well, they're not even trying to get Trump, but they can get Trump on a RICO Act, being that you don't necessarily have to do a crime. They just have to prove you're a part of an organization. And you could be a lower level guy that actually did the crime, but they hold the higher people accountable. And that's how Rudy Giuliani, he was a big RICO guy that got rid of the mafia in the 1960s and 70s.
So actually the RICO law came in 1970. So I just want to kind of put that out there. Kind of, man, how you doing? Says we have protection. It's just that they are directing it towards their own. I'll bet I couldn't walk through there without being watched, followed, and confronted. Where you from? What set you from? Yep, you ain't lying. And yeah, he's a troll, Tanya. Mark, how you doing? He says we are in a race war. Yep. And,
and isn't it funny that when incidents like this happen, the trolls start coming in to hear what we're talking about?
I ain't paying no mind. Pioneer says, I think it's actually racist how they are trying to prosecute these black rappers. However, if many of these clowns are dangerous to the community any damn way, they need to be silenced. Yes, indeed. And Easy, how you doing? Says, hello, D and Donovan. Just got back from range. We at war, black people. Big ups a security guard who engaged this savage, but due to body armor this savage was wearing, his shots bounced off. Yes, so he did try to, protect people, right? So RIP to him. And Robin, you say the shooter spewed a lot of Tucker Carlson's rhetoric, but black folks focus on what Kevin Samuels did. Watch out now. Raphael, how you doing? Says, okay, so I see I do have some trolls up in here. If my moderators are in here, y'all see people talking bad about black women, can y'all do what y'all do?
Yeah, I'm trying to get them.
Thank you. And Tanya says he was not a kid. He was a man, that mass shooter. Yeah, of course, because he's 18, close to, chronologically being a kid. They're going to try to frame it as he's a kid, right, with mental health issues. And Pioneer says, I don't have too much love for these dope smoking rappers who advocate violence and brag about killing members of their own community. They are victims of their own doing. Yes, indeed. But don't forget to throw the record companies in there who pay them big money to do what they call the drill songs, the drill raps, where they talk about violence, upon each other. So we got to also hold the record companies accountable. Jay, you say, and how you doing, by the way, says, hopefully everyone will believe that we are target of opportunity and are targeted. Stop trusting what everybody say and pay attention to what they do. You better come on with it. And David, and how you doing, says, fight back. Marcus says, if there are too many white kids with book bags, I get nervous, right? And that's what Farrakhan said too, as far as Dylan Roof. Y'all, when he went into South Carolina church and killed 9 people, he says, it's funny how a white boy come up in there with, a bag and all of that, and y'all set him in the back of the church and turned your back on him and went about doing what you were doing. He said, but had that been a black man came up in there, y'all, what y'all doing? What you doing up in here? What's in the bag? And he
Remove
says,
your hat. Remove your hat.
And he says, now you see why in the nation, Why we pat everybody down, stomp your feet, turn around and pat you down head to toe, make sure you ain't carrying, right? So good point. And Marty, you say, but there's the thing, Demetra. Here's the thing, Demetra. Even if you have Republicans and nothing gets changed or either side, why not just sit it out? Let's be clear. Neither one is going to benefit us. Let's be clear. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with sitting it out, especially if we're not getting anything for it. And Donovan says, first, we need to get these bootlicks out of office. Yes, indeed. And Kind of Man says, Elijah Muhammad taught us 40 years ago in the last days of white supremacy, they will try and take as many of us with them. Yep. And they're doing a great job at it, unfortunately. And IKTT says, where's the RICO? They need to take them down. Time's up for these demons. This is enough. Yeah, it's been past enough, right? But yeah, you would think, especially now, right? Robin says, start standing up for ourselves. Yep. And Michael Jordan, how you doing? He says, agreed. We already have laws that are supposed to protect. And Jay Bubba, how you doing? He says, we need to get on code. Yep, ASAP. And Isaac, how you doing? He says, this system is not working for us, period. Kiki says, and I saw someone on a post earlier call him a boy. Nope. As far as I'm concerned, he's a man. They look, our black boys at 11, 12, 13 years old as men. Hell no, excuse my language, but I will not allow them to sensitize this with him being seen as a boy or a kid. No, he's a grown man, grown ass man, and the law should see him and punish him as such. Yeah, I mean, but that's what they do. They make a whole lot of excuses for their own, right? But when it comes to ours, nah, they bring up all the criminal history and everything else.
Right, show the picture, everything. But again, you know, my question goes back to, why is the anger? Of course, we know because of the racism, but we don't make the laws that are bringing these other people in here. So why is this guy pointing his anger from his manifesto at us? We don't make the laws to do that. He just used that as an excuse to kill black people from his racism that he was taught at home.
Well, yeah, but it's deeper than that. White supremacy, they fail to see their role in everything, and they want to blame everybody else. And so they feel like we are trying to replace them. And he also mentioned Jews and, you know, other people as well, people of color. So they feel like we are trying to replace them, but they don't see their role in all of this, right? It's our fault that they are dwindling in numbers or the country is becoming more brown. And Michael, you say black people are not a monolith. We are not going to unify with the majority of black people. It sounds good though. See, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I think we need to really have that discussion first. And Robert says, true, we're not on the same page as a whole. And I hope I say this right. How you doing? He says, Shalomio. I know I said it wrong, but forgive me. How you doing? It says Genesis 24:41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Yes, indeed. In fact, not feeling says we will never all be on the same page. And it's sad, but it may be a reality, right? And Damon says, keep your guard up. Black First Family, they will strike again. Yes, indeed. And A Child's Heart, how you doing? He says the answer to your question is no, I don't expect them. They had 400 years to put something in place. And Donovan says, do you guys realize the mass shootings mostly just happen in the United States? Why is that? Because America has a love affair with guns and we have more guns than people. Pioneer says, I don't know if we need to unify in order to protect our communities. First of all, we're not going to unify because we're not a monolith. So if we want a full unity, we'll be waiting 1,000 years. So I get that we're not a monolith, but is every other culture or a race rather, are they unified? So why do we make excuses for us not getting unified? Now, we're not talking absolutes here like, oh, every black person in the United States is going to get on the same page. We know that's not the case. It hasn't been the case since Marcus Garvey, where he said we're going to have to leave some people behind, but everybody else get on the same page. I'll tell you a story. Once a long time ago when I was in the laundromat, I was like 20 years old. I was trying to wash my clothes and I was waiting for the dryer. A Hispanic lady pulled her clothes out, would not budge, and let her Hispanic homegirl come in and put her clothes there, even though I was waiting. So even in stuff like that, they gonna stick together, right? So I'm searching around trying to find me a dryer because they're, elbowing and waiting, making sure their own people get the damn dryer. So we can do it if they can do it. And Michael says, we need to unify with like-minded people who have a common interest for, oops, damn it, my comment section jumped up again. Sorry about that.
I challenge you to get to the bottom of these comments. From here on out, you got it.
Oh, I'm gonna get to the bottom of these comments. You watch. Okay, let's see. I think I found it. Michael, it says we need to unify with like-minded people who have a common interest for the goal of power. So I'm going to actually get to some of the people that I have not seen comments. And Presto Strange Old, the Magnificent. Okay, how you doing? He says all they gonna offer is word salad and bad damn breath promise biscuits. We need to protect ourselves and don't vote until we get tangibles. I love it. And Cortez says, yeah, I agree. We aren't on the same page. And Zebras, how you doing, brother? And I do literally mean brother. It's Donovan's brother. It says, hey, y'all, Smoke here, catching up on the issues. Glad to have you back. And let's see who else is on here that I have not seen their comments. Trenton Makes, how you doing? It says, Congressional Black Caucus out here saying we want voting rights. But as I always ask, what are we doing with the voting rights we have? We walking into the polls and we voting for the same thing. So it's like, are voting rights really serving us any good if we keep voting for oppressions? Like, make it make sense.
And the thing about it's racist that they're not letting people vote and all these voting restrictions, that's a bunch of BS, because every Black person I know has a driver's license. You have some form of ID. If you're getting government assistance, you got to have some form of ID. So don't let these Democrats be telling you all this BS. Do your homework on that. Use your common sense.
Yes, indeed. And Midnight, how you doing? It says, where are the NFAC? Y'all know,
federal government came down and put a stop to that.
Yeah, and we haven't heard anything else about it. So y'all know the story. Tommy Felix, how you doing? He says, we need Black-owned towns with a standing Black militia, Black economy, Black agenda, Black code. The leadership is the code. Yes, indeed. Wilbur, if I didn't already, how you doing? He says, if you pick up arms to protect yourself and your family, we will be on the same page. Too many of our people are carrying Bibles instead of real protection. Wow. As my dad always says, prayer ain't worth a damn at a bear meeting. A bear coming to eat you, you're going to get on your knees. Oh, Father God, I pray right now that you make the bear go away. A gun will probably be a lot quicker and more effective at that moment, right?
Wait a minute, but it freed what's his name? Daniel from the lion's den. What prophet was that was praying in the lion's den?
What prophet was praying in the lion's den?
Daniel? Daniel. It saved Daniel from being eaten by the lion in the lion's den.
Gotcha. IKTT said, it's called Hour 1242. Okay, strange enough. That's the hour my daughter was born, to the hour and a minute. And he says, whites haven't forgotten what we have done to them. But what is Hour 1242, if you don't mind me asking? And says, whites haven't forgotten what we have done to them in the past, for creating them, for enslaving them, for treating them badly. Divine law of retribution is what we are going through. Okay. And Jason, how you doing? He says, what's up, guys? It amazes me how after killing 10 people, this young man was able to walk away. Yeah, and as I said, a witness across the street said he was removing things and all of that. And, and before he got on the ground, and nobody put any bullet holes in him.
But you could be a small child playing with a toy gun and get gunned down within 2 seconds of exiting your police vehicle. Or you could be having a mental stroke with a knife, not hurting anybody, walking down the street and be gunned down, dead, just like that.
Marshall, how you doing? You say yes. And Tuco, how you doing? It says Dr. Francis Cress Welsing often told us they fear genetic annihilation, and this is only going to get worse because of their dwindling numbers. Absolutely, everybody should read the ISIS papers. It's deep, it's very hard to read, but it is an absolute must read nevertheless. And Shalemio, I hope I said that right. He says Genesis. Okay, so I read that one already. The scripture you put in. Chris, how you doing? He says, learn 2A, evil will always exist. Okay, what is 2A, if you don't mind me asking? Pioneer says, now that what gets me about the NFAC is even if, because I don't know if he is, the leader was an agent, what does that have to do with the rank and file taking care of business? Good question. And yes, Tanya says, screw that HR 40 mess. And Stan, how you doing? He says, pay attention to what's happening as they did with the crime bill. The first thing the author of the crime bill did was fund the police even more. Now, who will that even hurt even more? And that will be us. And even now, Joe Biden, who was instrumental in it back then, is talking about giving more money to the police even today.
But don't worry, Kamala's going to say something about that.
Oh, and Macaroni says he's white. Officer, he's going to be able to walk away. Yes. And let's see who else on. Sydney, how you doing, brother? He says, we have been at war for 500 years. Protect yourself and your family. As a New Yorker, I don't want, he says, to hear, I think you don't want to hear from the CBC. I want to hear from my elected officials. Yes, and I know the governor of New York, Catherine, what's her name? Catherine Hochul. She's, asking Biden and them to do something or be a little bit more stern about it. But, and the mayor also of Buffalo. And Tuco says, I would never forgive such blatant evil, and we shouldn't. As Farrakhan said, we forgive people, and they not even asking us to do it, right? Macaroni says, salute to you for acknowledging the comment section. Oh, yes, you guys are actually the third host on the show. I don't like having people just sit and watch us. That's why we do a podcast with just us two, so that way, we can talk and not ignore the comment section. So as much as I can, I'm going to try to get everybody's comment at least a couple times.
Yeah, and that's also why I kind of lay back and let you guys co-host the show, and I kind of go through the comments, let you guys do your thing.
Is that for real, brother?
That was real. That was
real. Alexander, how you doing? He says, you are your own first responder. When seconds count, the police are minutes away. You are very correct. Pioneer says, NFSC had all those rallies where thousands of black men came out with gats dressed in black. Did they all disappear? Where the hell did they go? Did a UFO beam them up? I don't know. I have no intel about that at all. That guy from Texas, how you doing? Says, peace, everyone. And Angela says, just think, that little white boy with that whip is our future. Yes, so he's talking about the one where the white boy went up to the door of a black family with a whip and was cracking it. And then the family went across the street. Was like, yo, your little boy is over here being racist, got a whip and all of that. And then the little white boy's daddy had a gun and, was basically he told the dude to get out of my yard and all of that other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, the boy couldn't have been no more than 8 years old doing that. So, and John Ivory, how you doing? He says, we need guns and lots of ammo. Yep. And, get some training, right? And Ray Sean, how you doing? He says, hello, Queen Demetria, Brother Don, and Room. And John Ivory says, forgot YouTube is always watching. Yeah, so be careful of the things y'all saying. I don't want nobody to get in trouble. And let's see here. Sydney says, glad to see y'all are good. Y'all just had a mass shooting in Orange County. Yes, someone sent that to me right before I came on here. It was at a church in Orange County. So I don't have any details about what happened yet, but if you do, please let me know. And let's see here. Black Like Me, 24/7, 365. How you doing? It says, to my Black First family, take your friends, family to the gun range and get your shooting skills up. Yes, it's a must, right? Prayer is good, but, having a pew-pew is even better. Prayer and pew-pew. How about that? And Prince Caesar, how you doing? He says, how about Buffalo is completely okay with that being a segregated community on purpose? Yes. So I saw something about that. It was purposely segregated. But let me ask y'all this. Is that really a bad thing to be segregated, right? Because look what integration actually done to us as Black people. So is that really a bad thing? Now, I know it was probably separated for racist reasons, but even in that, we should use that to our own advantage, right? Am I wrong? And Tanya says, so sad and evil for what that demon spawn did. Let's see here. James, she says, how can they protect? And if I didn't, how you doing already? Says, how can they protect us from people like this? We must protect ourselves. I agree. Prince Hakeem, how you doing? He says, why does it keep doing that every time you say his name? So doing what? What is it doing? Please let me know. I don't see what's going on. And Don says, just ordered a bio pin key drop down single safe for my car at Donovan. Okay, I sound like this some pretty heavy stuff, what you're talking about there. And let's see, who else is on here? Tommy Felix, you say Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon, Foundational Black American Militia. Okay. And who else? Cornell, how you doing? Says, they're not leaders, they're puppets. Yep. They got a key in their back and their master will turn it on and they'll do and say whatever the master wants them to, the puppeteers, right? And Shine says, you notice the Homeland Security and the FBI let these devils put anything on the internet, then they play dumb like they didn't have a clue, right? But let you say something. I got in Facebook jail a couple of months ago for a Mickey Mouse meme that I posted in 2018 where, it was a meme of like, if you see something horrible, he says, I'm going to gouge my eyes out. That's what Mickey Mouse said. He was going to gouge his eyes out. And it says, well, we feel like you may harm yourself and we frown upon posts like that. So we want you to be in Facebook or whatever it is, a suspension from going live for 30 days. I'm like, for Mickey Mouse? From what, almost 4 years ago? Okay. It's your world, do your thing. And Robbie says, Biden sending all that formula, Pampers, and baby food to the border. We're going to get into that. I'm going to get to these comments. Don't let me forget about this whole baby formula thing. And let's see here. Bo, he says, Black people must get rid of the spirit of fear. Yes, indeed. Spencer, how you doing? He says they all need to go to prison. That may be true. And Macaroni said, what's the recovering Democrats YouTube, Demetria? You just got yourself a new subscriber. Thanks for the content. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I already sent it. I already sent the link.
You put it in there. Okay. And usually I'll put it in the description box when I'm done here, but usually I forgot. And Don, if you want to put it up, I'll put it up on the screen when I get to it. And Kind of Man says, let any Black go into a white neighborhood. These radars go up instantly. As soon as you get close, they are checking you out and already have let the police know. I live in Oregon. I know. Yeah. Try to walk into whatever the local whitest neighborhood in your area is. Just Ahmaud Arbery, right? That's a perfect example. Try to walk in Beverly Hills or River Oaks or wherever the white neighborhood is and see if somebody, if it's not the neighborhood watch, the local security guard or police, hey, what are you doing here? They say that they don't recognize you around these parts. Can we have your ID? And it's like, yo, I live around the corner, It's crazy. And Mr. Coffee, how you doing? He says 2,000 mules. And Monique, how you doing? Aaron, how are you? Says, will we? Good question. Tuco says, why is he only being charged with 1 count of murder so far? See, I wasn't familiar with what all they're charging him with, but yeah, 1 count. Maybe it's the weekend and maybe they're going to get to it on Monday. We would hope, right? But we know it's not just one. And who else is on here? Monique said, I live in Buffalo, New York. So do you know of anybody who was affected by that at all? And Black Like Me says, hell with the Bible and start reading The Art of War. I have my opinion about The Art of War, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. And Tommy, thank you so much for the donation. You say Black agenda. We should be, let me put your comment up. So we should be buying privately owned Black towns, Black economy, Black code of conduct, Black first mandate, Black first militia. Yes, indeed. We should be doing all those things because that's what they did back in the day, right? Black Wall Street and all other towns, they were doing that. So we should still be doing those things. But again, the false idea of civil rights told us that we don't need to do those things anymore. As Donovan would say, we can go have seasonless soup with white people now and rub elbows at the diner and live next door to them and go
use the same bathrooms, go to the toilet next to them.
Yeah, so we felt like we didn't need that anymore. And Robbie said, exactly, Clyburn was bragging about his grandson's achievement, but telling us to work harder. Exactly. And Mr. Coffee, you say trailer parks. And Patricia, how you doing? You say, I can't read that, but how you doing anyway? And Sister B, how you doing? Says, we are not people of color. We are Black. You better believe it. We don't call ourselves people of color on here. We do make the difference between people of color and Black people. Because what happens when we get lumped in with everybody else, per that of Dr. Claude Anderson, minorities, everybody else gets stuck but Black people. So yes, we are Black here.
Where are the Chucks and Pearls group? Where are these people that were telling us to vote blue no matter who? Has anybody seen any of these people? Because they are silent.
Wait, it's a little early for the midterm elections, but I'm sure they dusted them off as we speak. And
real quick, I'm going to cut you off. I know you got to get these comments. How many in the comments, you guys, please tell us how many of you guys saw Simone Sanders' a new show that debuted on MSNBC Saturday? Abysmal failure. Abysmal. And this is what happens when you sell out your own people.
Yes, indeed. And Beats by Dizzy, how you doing? It says, religion, bow down and be submissive. Good point. And Beat Face Lay, I hope I said that right. How you doing? It says, they always come out alive. Yeah, and then Burger King if they lucky, right? And then my comments jumped up again. I hate when that happens. Let's see here.
We got a lot of folks.
That's good. That's good. I'm gonna get to everybody's comment. If I don't get to your comment, please let me know because that is not my intention not to. All right, it's Snaz Boogie. How you doing? Peace unto you as well. Amanda, you say, was the shooter the only one that was part of this shooting? So for now, but you never know. I'm sure it was, he talked to somebody, right? Sam, how you doing? Say, this is all so sad. Yes, it is. And Aaron, you say, yes, trailer parks, okay. And Pioneer says, what, you mean the security guard was a black man too? Man, I thought that at least the security guard was a white dude. I heard that some of the dead were non-black. No, all of the dead were black. 2 white people were shot, but they survived. And they even said that he aimed at a white person, and I think they screamed or whatever. And he said, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. And then went on to do what he was doing. And Adolfo, how you doing? Says, our people are still too docile, begging their God for this to stop. Really good point. And the Master 1314, how you doing? And Amar, how you doing? Black First, yes indeed. And let's see here. Who else is on here? Michael Pan, how you doing? He says, I have developed a black agenda to protect black people. Yes, so you sent it to me. I am going to look at it. Maurice, how you doing? He says, the way these police are out here shooting people in the head, the one time a cop should have unalived somebody. That's crazy how we have to say different words, right? But yeah, but they saw they was wanting the police and the KKK. Y'all remember watching Scooby-Doo as a kid? And, the gang would be trying to find out who the culprit was, and they pulled the hood off, and it's like, oh my God, it's the police.
And we would have got away with it too if it hadn't been for you and that stupid dog.
Exactly. And Prince Caesar says, how about Buffalo? It's completely okay with that being a segregated community on purpose. Yes, indeed. And let's see who else is on here. Dorothy, how you doing? Says, these people are not to blame for what happened. And yeah, right. So you're talking about the victims. I totally agree with you. So we shouldn't be doing that. Spencer, you say from Sheila Jackson to Tarsha Jackson, Jarvis Johnson, and the rest of them involved. So you're talking about the Houston or the Texas section of Congress people. Yeah, it don't sound like they're good for business either. And Cindy, how you doing? Says, peace, fam. 2 shootings today, Laguna Woods, California, Houston, Texas. Breaking news. Thank you. Yeah, I did hear about the one in Texas. It was at a flea market, from what it sounds like. And Pioneer says, Queen, I'm from Detroit, and I've seen people get shot and even get shot once years ago. For me and my and many men, the fear, if ever comes, doesn't kick in until after the action is over with. Exactly. So, well, for some people, yeah, but I'm one of those people. Unfortunately, they have the flight or fright. I tend to get the fright first, and then once I come to. So in that case, a lot of them might have got the fright. And they said one lady was off in the back of her head, so she never even knew what hit her. So I don't know. 40 acres and a tractor. That's what I'm talking about. You say, and how you doing, by the way? It says, black people must prepare to defend our sovereignty. White supremacists want another civil war too, and Red Summer too. Yes, indeed. And Kiki says, I'm going to get you, sucker. I love that movie. Laugh out loud, but it's true. We really can't say why they didn't handle it a certain way. So, and the one true Con, how you doing? Love and appreciate you for your donation. I'll put your comment up there. It says, Biden hasn't said much about this massacre. If we're not on code, we will be doomed. Black first. Yeah, he says, well, we're still going to wait for the investigation to come out.
What investigation do you need at this point? It's crazy. But see, that's what they think of you. They think that you guys are children and they can tell you anything and you're not going to say a damn thing about it.
Yep, we're going to wait for the investigation. Just hold tight, even though the dude said, he had a manifesto and he went on live streaming. And on the end of his gun, it said the N-word. What do you need to investigate?
But, well, you got to remember, we're not a protected class, so we got to see if it escalates to a federal hate crime. Even though they say that's what they're going to do, they have to investigate that it makes all of the elements. This is why we need a protection bill. If you touch an Asian and you punch an Asian, you are going to jail. Federal crime, no questions asked.
Well, in all fairness, he did say that it, looks like a hate crime and all that, but they need to investigate due process, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they have to see if the elements all meet the element. And here's the thing. When you don't follow these cases, they kind of fall off. That's why the new black media, we are one of the few medias out there that is now letting you guys know what's happening to these cases at the end of the day. Just like we just, who's the attorney general in Kentucky? Under the Breonna Taylor thing, they let the Breonna Taylor thing and lied to the grand jury and all that other stuff.
The black guy.
Yeah, the black guy, whatever his name is. This fool's running for governor. What? How does he figure he does? Again, If it wasn't for the New Black media reporting that this man told the grand jury something different, you would not have known that that's what had happened.
The Black Purge says African hate crime bill. Yes, indeed. And let's see who else is on here. Anonymous Professor, how you doing? He says, hit the like button, demand the bill for protection. Asking is over. And thank you so much. If y'all could, please hit the like button. I will dance at your wedding. And let's see who else is on here. Mickey Bricks 2.0 says, peace at Demetri K and the recovering Democrat and chat. Yes, indeed. And Stan Lewis, how you doing? He says, we need to build our Black Wall Street back and militarize it. To defend it, we need our own. Give us the 40 acres and we'll tend it and protect it. We cannot rely on this government. We need our own. Yes, indeed. And Reginald, how you doing? He says, Las Vegas here. Great channel. Thank you so much. And Cornell, he says, exactly. All the racist sleeper cells pop up out of nowhere. Yes, indeed. And Avenged Ancestors, how you doing? He says, hello, Queen Demetri. Looking good. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Pioneer says, everyone is different, but a certain percentage of the population are well able to think and keep a cool head, even if very traumatic incidents. So I know it was some of them who could step up. Maybe. I mean, I like I said, I'm not going to demonize those victims for being victims. Cindy says Rudy got John Gotti in the 80s in the 80s and 90s. Yes. Oh, because
Rudy got he pretty much put the mafia down. Pretty much, they're coming back now, but he was the one instrumental prosecutor that was in charge of that.
Yes, indeed. And Virgo, how you doing? And Amanda, you say I'm just glad the retired officer put his life first, but I'm not glad he got killed. Yeah, so he did try to do something. And Tuco says we're often so naive and think we can understand these devils and their savagery. Yes, indeed. And let's see who else is on here. Yes, Beats by Drizzy. I say keep your heads on swivel all the time. Finder says, yeah, laugh out loud. What happened to your moderators? They on here somewhere. I don't know. Donovan, I know, is one. And Cindy, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. He says, peace, fam. 2 shootings today. Laguna Woods. So California, Houston, and breaking news. Thank you. No, thank you so much. And Mar, you say, we need reparations so I can buy a gun to protect my brothers and sisters. Yeah, well, before we get that reparations, you can always go get one. I want to put legally, Don says, trying to find them at Demetri K. Yes, you are one as well. I love and appreciate you for doing your job. I know you was working hard last week, so I appreciate you for that. And 40 acres and a tractor. He says he can join the army, so he's grown. Yes, talking about the shooter. And Tuco says killing them is mostly enjoyment. Killing to them, is mostly enjoyment. Yeah, they love it. JJ Marge says, I'm sure Blue Lives Matter will not say anything about the former cop security guard since he was Black. Okay, they ain't gonna say nothing. And Mr. Tizion, I know I said, Mount Tizion, how you doing? You say they sent this man there to do what he did, just like Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Is his defense going to be he defended himself? It worked for Kyle Rittenhouse.
Not if you live streamed you driving up to the damn store and nobody was doing nothing to you. You're not going to say that was self-defense. And yes, the Black Pro, he is grown. And Mustafa, how you doing? You say the only protection we get is at the gun store. We gonna learn. Yep, arm yourself. It's our right to do that, right? And Bill Bigsby, how you doing? You say ain't no way he should have made it out of there alive. Now they saw he was one of them and was like, we got you. Burger King, McDonald's.
Your mic keeps going.
My mic?
You keep rattling your mic.
Oh, you know what? It's in my shirt. Okay, hold on. Let me fix it. Is that better?
Better.
Sorry about that. And Beat Face Lay, I said how you doing? He says exactly. Pay attention to what they do. Yes, indeed. And Mr. Pirate Brain, how you doing? He says they always do that. And the Pioneer says, okay, there. I didn't pay too much attention to the moderators until you said something. See, they there. Dorothy says, well, they can put his mental illness behind to Clinton Detention Center. Let him bunk with the son of Sam. Right. And J0420, how you doing? Says 21 Black folks shot in Milwaukee on Friday. Really? Says then this in Buffalo, there were also massive riots and shootings and murders in Chicago last night. When are we going to hold our own accountable? So you're talking about what they call black on black crime. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we should hold each other accountable as well. Um, all the killing needs to stop. But what I don't like to do is mix white supremacy and what they do to us and what we do to us, because it kind of says, well, it makes the argument of what they do to us null and void. I'm not saying that we shouldn't care about what we do to us. We should, but I don't want that to usurp what they do to us, because we know more than likely when black people kill black people, they're held accountable for it. Am I right? Jeremy, how you doing? He says, oh, you say, I should talk less. Okay. Maybe you should relay that message to your mama. All right. And so let's see who else is here. Shredranika, how you doing? It says black first. Yes, indeed. And Mr. Pirebrain says, hey, Demetra, can you make me a moderator? Yes, I will write that down. And Jojo, how you doing? It says, we've been at war for decades now. Our people been to sleep to realize it. Hopefully this can be a wake-up call. Unite and rise up black first. And Sammy, how you doing? Say, you are the Israelites, and the whites and the other nations know that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the Israelites and God's holy people, and the only people who don't want to accept that is us. Okay, and the Pioneer says that's exactly what the Nation of Islam does. It's search, procedure, and checks everyone who enters their temple. Yep. Wow, am I that behind? All right, I'm going to catch up.
You got a lot of comments.
I got you. Van Varner, how you doing? He says the police showed up and just looked at the shooter, then allowed him to put his gun down. Black people, you're on your own. Yes, indeed. Old school, how you doing? He says the national news is turning this hate crime that happened to us black folks about hate crime that happened to the other people of color. So with that, no protection for us black folks. And I was at the gym today, and I didn't even see them talking about it at all on the TV monitor. So
yeah, the narrative that they're spinning is, oh, it happened to the Asians, it happened to the Jew synagogue. They're grouping us with all these other groups to make it seem like, you know, we're not the only ones that deal with a situation like that.
That's what we do, but we fall for it every time. Mikey B28, how you doing? He said, it isn't a black man's responsibility to appear non-threatening to white folks or any other group. Exactly. All right, let's see who else is commenting on here. Star Child 369 says, hey, fam, how are you doing? We are doing well, and how are you? Lion of Judah, how you doing? You say, unfortunately, there are more of him out here in America. Yep, just waiting, right? Marcus, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you. And let me just get down to some of these other comments, you guys, so I could catch up and so I could get to this whole little baby formula thing that's going on. Let's see, I skipped too far. Actually, it skipped for me. Let me find it. Okay. And Don, you say, fam, if you see any trolls, point them out by name and we will deal with them accordingly. That's what I'm talking about. The Almighty is black. How you doing? It says everybody will be on call for a week, then forget about it. Shaking my head. A week? Shoot, I'm giving it till Monday. And Walt Dog 5791, how you doing? It says, so what is your view on him proclaiming to be an extreme leftist? Two wings of the same bird, right?
Bird.
The leftists and the right, they're all the same people. They just go by different names, but they the same people. They're all racist and do not love or even like black people.
Yeah, it's the same as like the Hispanic community. You got Hispanics now that consider themselves white, and you have some really racist Hispanics. You got some really racist Asians because they're everything but black. You can say that.
Yep. Snaz Boogie said, this has been going on for years, but if a person changed their life and help others get jobs to feed their families, I support that change. Okay. And Dorothy says, globally, we need to make praying for these people to be disarmed and dethroned. This should be our daily prayer along with Psalms 83. Okay. So who else is on here that have not read their comments yet? Beverly, I only read like one of yours. He says, it's not Black America's fault about illegal immigration. Not at all. Not our fight. Katie, how you doing? Says, really, but do I need to remind you about the subway shooter and the guy who ran over parade watchers? They were not white. Yeah, they were not white, but we know that most of the mass shooters are. They are. It's a fact. They are. But the other thing is the guy in the subway and the people, the guy that ran over the parade watchers, they gonna get dealt with accordingly. They ran all their criminal history and this, that, and the other. This white kid, though, he's got mental illnesses, and you don't hear them dirtying him up just yet. So easy. He says, D, as I watched them take the savage into custody, he was disturbing watching the body language of the police. as they took him into custody, they were gentle and careful. Oh yeah, and
weren't they relaxed? They were just so relaxed.
Yeah, and he didn't even seem like he was stressed out, even though he did what he did, right? And
wait, I have one question though. Remember Carl Rittenhour? He got all those donations from a lot of celebrities and things, and right-wing organizations. I wonder how many donations this guy's gonna get.
Yeah. Let me know if my mic is tripping again.
You are tripping again. It just rang out.
Because I just touched it. That's why it's real sensitive. And kind of man says, like Cress Welsing, Neely Fuller Jr. and others have taught us our skin tone is a crime in their eyes. Yes, indeed. And I think Katie may be a troll as well. She talking about we put thugs on the pedestal. Shit, the full founders of this country are thugs. Deal with your people first before you come over here trying to tell us about our people. And let's see who else is on here. Austin, how you doing? Says Christ said many years ago that the world is evil. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He needs a body to operate. He found one. And Citizens 718 says, hopefully our people are aware and paying attention. They're not our friends. History repeats itself. Yes, indeed. Hey, Brother Samuel, how you doing? He says, greetings, D&D. That elderly lady put me in the mind of my grandmother. Just sad. Yeah, a few elderly women who didn't even know what hit them, right? And it was one lady who was an activist, and she had been for a very long time in Buffalo, and she was at the store, and her brother, was going to pick her up. She's just going to run there, get a couple of things, and unfortunately, she never came out. And Bicoastal Entertainment, how you doing? He says, hashtag race war, hashtag truth to power. Ricky Mackey, how you doing? You say, hey, D and Don, peace. Yes, indeed, brother. And Thunder says, they're doing this now, so imagine what will happen when the government cuts the check. My suggestion is for everyone to get life insurance, personal protection, to get your affairs in order. Yes, indeed, life insurance is a must. Who else came on here? Manolo, how you doing? It says, we'll be on the same page when these nukes fly. Okay, be careful, brother. And Sugar Be Sweeter, I think that's your name. How you doing? It says, even taught in school that Black people were exchanged for G's. Okay. And who else? Ruben, how you doing? It says, rally against the right hate militia. And Robin says, we don't need for every Black person to unify, but we need enough for us to unify. Yeah, just enough, because everybody ain't going to do it. Good times. How you doing? It says, foundational Black Americans are a monolith. Yeah, we should be as much as possible when it comes to unifying about, Black liberation, right? I don't see why there would be a schism with that. And kind of man says, John Henrik stated, conditions are going to get so bad for Black Americans that we'll be forced to come together. Yep, and we're kind of seeing it a little bit. Pioneer says Hispanics tend to be very racist. You see that at your jobs and in the community. Yes, indeed. Let's see who else. Joyce, how you doing? Say people got to stop whenever they're winning and the enemy sword pop or something. You got some emojis on there I can't read. And Jared, he says, when will we get protection? God, that's sad. Prayers, folks. Okay. And let's see here. Who else is on here that I have not read?
Did you do beat face or beat lace? What is
I did. Let me get her again. It says, protect ourselves. They will literally drop bombs on us. It's time for us to flee. But see, when we try to have that conversation about getting the hell up out of America, I ain't going nowhere. All right. Marcus Garvey told us over 100 years ago, let's blow this joint. And y'all saw what happened to Marcus Garvey. And here we are, And let's see here. Who else? Divine Gamer, how you doing? Says, so he was supposed to be Dylan Roof. Yes, he talked about Dylan Roof in his manifesto. And some other guy, I forget who it was, but he looked up to them. So, y'all know what Dylan Roof did. So he wanted to do the same thing. Kill innocent Black people. And Sun Kisser, you say, how you doing? It says, we shouldn't have to wait for nukes to fly to get on the same page. Yes, indeed. And Jermaine, how you doing? It says, that's BS. That BS is so that the illegal immigrants can vote as well. Shaking my head. Yep, because Black people are going to be replaced. And that's why they are bringing in the immigrants so that they can vote. But the crazy part that's going on, immigrants aren't really voting for Democrats like that. They are voting for their interest to protect what's theirs. And so they tend to vote conservative and not as much liberal. So the joke is on them, right? And let's see. I'm going to get to everyone else's comments.
Jared Taylor.
You say, I don't know if I want to read that one.
No, he's saying thoughts and prayers.
Oh, thoughts and prayers. I thought he meant thoughts. It says thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts.
That's why. So you say, as a white man with blue eyes from Idaho, thoughts and prayers, y'all. Okay, got you.
Thank you very much.
I thought, because you said, thoughts in our community spelled like that means something else.
Yeah, he's using an acronym. He meant thoughts.
Got you. That's what Donovan's here for, to keep me hip. And let's see here. Angela says, speak for y'all selves. I'm on code to a fault. All right. Now, Thunder says, can anyone answer this question? Am I my people's keeper? I ask again, am I my people's keeper? That's a great question.
CMB. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Stop it. All right, Nino. And Desaline, how you doing? Says, get protection. And Arkeithia, if I didn't already, how you doing? He says, you won't hear on a sound from our Black leaders in Congress. Yeah, they'll make a tweet or something, but they're not going to make no major moves to do nothing, right?
No legislation is going to be written, none of that. But let another group have a problem like this, they got the paperwork ready the next day to be voted on.
Yep. Paris, how you doing? He said there was another shooting in California. Yep. So I heard. Let's see here. I'm gonna get down to the end a little bit. Michael Rainey, how you doing? He says we have to know, even if we get a hate crime bill and vote for the Dems, it will be rarely enforced. They will never change. Yep. So we really got to think long and hard about the things that we are voting for. And need of justice, he says separation is the only option. Yep, I agree with you. And let's see here.
Jay Bubba.
Jay Bubba says Malcolm X said the best: stop singing and start swinging. One of my favorite T-shirts that I have. And Freight Train, how you doing? He says, we got more Bibles instead of real protection. That was pretty funny, right? And let's see here. I'm going to get to the bottom so I can catch up, but I want to make sure that I don't skip anybody that came on here that I did not see. Monet, I see you came on here, but I'm going to skip up a little bit to see who I skipped. Oh, you guys are typing. Usually I can get to the bottom.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, I caught back up. Stephen, how you doing? Says Second Amendment. I think Stephen Grigsby. I want to say your last name so everybody know who I'm talking about. And World News, how you doing? Greetings back at you. And Quintessential, I think that is one. How you doing? He says all we got is us. Trust none of them. TJ, how you doing? He says, hi, everyone. I'm just learning of this, chiming in on the live. What in the world? Absolutely. What in the world? And how you doing, by the way? Non-Squirrel Zone, how you doing? He says, divesting ladies, the shooter is single. Really? Oh, God. And Trenton Makes, she says, haha, Kamala Harris, sister girl. That's what she is today, I think. And Mikey, how you doing? Antsy, how you doing? Says if they did not do anything when Robert Byrd Jr. was dragged behind the truck, they ain't doing anything now. You guys know that happened in Texas a couple years back. Well, they, as far as Black people, didn't do anything, but the people who did that, they have been executed. I think all of them to this point. So, but I get where you're going with that. And Be Easy, that dude, how you doing? Says just found this page. Yay, we're so happy you're here. And how you doing, Kendall? I hope I said that right. Tatum, how you doing? You say, after current politicians, they care less. They go to gated communities and have security. Yep, even the Black ones.
Right. But see, this is what we got. This is why we got to get them out of there. Why? It doesn't make sense to let them use our tax dollars to lavish their lifestyle and their family. Let's let them get back into the hood because they can't support what they're doing.
Well, yeah, so they get the tax dollars and then they get the money from the lobbyists, to do their bidding. Long Haul 504, how you doing? He says, go to the gun range, Black people, please, Second Amendment. Yep, cannot stress that enough. All right, and David Douglas, how you doing? He says, slaves were protected. Now you all are like the rest of humans on your own. Okay. Marjan, he said, there's another shooting today at a church. Yep, in California. I don't have any details on that just yet, but this world has gone even more mad, right? Natural and Moja, how you doing? He says, we need to clap back as Black people. Yes, indeed. Monet, how you doing? He says, have y'all seen The Purge? forever purge. That movie is scary because it could truly happen in real life. Is that the one with the black people? Because I've seen most of the purges. I think the last one I saw was about black people, and I'm like, damn, like this is like really real. Somebody is speaking here, you know. So is that the one? And
well, you were at the Seychelles where the rich, the ultra rich plan our lives. What did you hear?
Nothing. I didn't hear nothing. Christopher Bogarty, how you doing? Says, I keep my gun on me. I stay ready. Why are we still sleepwalking? Very good question. And Mickelson, I hope I said that right, aka Mike Joseph. How you doing? Says they're tracking us, but God tracking them. Laugh out loud. Good job. Absolutely. And who else is on here? Did I not read? A designated black. How you doing? If I didn't already, says, look at this point when will it be understood that we walk through the valley of death as long as white supremacy, racism exists? No forgiveness, self-preservation is a priority. Absolutely should be, right? World News says, my mother and my family shops there at Tops. I was so blessed none of them was there. And some of my family lives around there in the Tops grocery store. Yeah, because from what I understand, it's a predominantly black neighborhood. So yeah, they said he specifically went to that store. Sunlight, you say a segregated low-income neighborhood is an easy mark. Absolutely. And Super Patriot. And how you doing? He says, I'm 50% non-violent, but the other 50% not so much. And Kendall, you say anyone who wants segregation never lived through it. Well, we ain't talking. Well, we still in Jim Crow, but we ain't talking about how they was doing it back then. We're talking about like they did at Black Wall Street. What was wrong with that? They were a thriving community doing their own thing, had their own currency going in and out. The black dollar circulated many times before it left their community, and they were able to do for self, because that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to do for self. So, I mean, you think about it, most neighborhoods in America are segregated, whereas mostly white people or Asians or whatever, they have their own parts of town. So why can't we have ours?
One of the most segregated cities in the United States, if you want to believe it or not, New York City, all those different boroughs.
Yes, indeed. Manolo, you say Jesus was black and he taught people to arm themselves for protection. Yes, indeed. Again, if you guys are on Facebook and you see this and you want us to read your comment, click on the link, come over to wherever it is on Facebook, and I would love to read your comment. And who else is on here that I did not see? Super Patriot, I think I read it, but I read it again. Said that little boy should have been dealt with, but y'all know he ain't gonna be. Nicole, how you doing? Nicole Moore, I should say. He says, hello, everyone. Biden can protect black people with the stroke of a pen, just like he did for the Asians. Something to think about when we go to the polls. Absolutely. Like they didn't have any pushback with the Asians, but for us, well, you know, Paula W. He said, we need a national organization. Anyone think of a name for it? Definitely not the NAACP.
Not the Urban League and not Black Lives Matter.
Yep. And Norman, how you doing? He says, learn to protect yourself. And Marcella, how you doing? He says, it's time to bear arms. Yes, indeed. And 1970, it says, Biden said he's praying for the families. Make the Dems pay in early voting in November. And in November, get strapped, my brothers and sisters. Yeah. And he did say that he was praying, and we need said this as he was talking to police officers, that we need to unify. It's like, who's this we? Who's this we you're talking about? You know? John Ivory says it keeps buzzing whenever you say his name. Oh, and that might just be my microphone too. Is my microphone all right now? Yeah, okay. And Railroad 22 says Brooklyn, Waukesha. And what is that, if you don't mind me asking? Daryl, I'll say Daryl. How about that? Eiffel, something like that. Good evening from Pine Tops, North Carolina. And how are you? Watching you. You're watching me and I'm watching you. How you doing? Says one person was killed and 4 more were critically injured in the shooting in Orange County Church Sunday, May 15, 2022. Yeah, so that's today. And that's not too far where I'm from, in California. So we'll get more details on that, but that is just straight
35
up.
35 miles from where I'm at right now.
At a church. A church. You can't even be at church anymore. Well,
it wasn't at the Tower of Power, was it?
Huh?
It wasn't at the Tower of Power, was it?
Hell if I know. Designated Black says it's a collective effort, not just black men. We all we got. Yes, indeed. And who else is on here that I did not see? Country, how you doing? Says nothing will change. And what you talking about, Willis? I love it. How you doing? It says mental health sounds like defense they will use. Yeah, you know, in his childhood, he stubbed his pinky toe and he's never been the same, right?
Yeah, his parents only give him a $500 a week and allowance, so that's very traumatic.
Yep. And the Pioneer, he says the brother is right. White folks in wealthy neighborhoods stay on alert, even if they are out watering their grass. They're keeping an eye out for surroundings. Now they keeping an eye out for your black ass. And Ray Sean, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you for the donation. You says, thank you, Brother Don and Queen Demetria. We appreciate all you do. Keep up the good work. And we appreciate you as well. And let's see here, Mickey Bricks 2.0. You say, family need to give praise to the Most High when y'all at the range and passing the ammo. Power tools are the way forward. Yes, indeed. Angela says, I left Facebook for even threatening to jail me. Oh, so he like, I'm cool on Facebook. And Mike Joseph, you say, don't forget to hit the like button, family. Yes, and please, and thank you. Runaway Slave 312. He says, the Karen Act will catch you if you step. Okay. Moni says, it amazes me how you all love to make mockery and make fun of Donovan when it comes to prayers and prayers working wonderful ways when it's your time. You'll know it takes that to take that to the bank. So I think you're saying that you were making fun of praying. I don't know. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is we've been praying. We've been taught to pray. And that's all good and great. When are we going to start taking action?
Absolutely. And Nicole Maury says they are charging him with one count because they want to hold him, but more charges. The comment jumped up. I hate it. Let's see here. So I think you said more charges will come. That's kind of what I figured. They, it was the weekend and, they kind of trying to compile some things.
They're trying to form a narrative to get it out before Monday, because on the weekends, have you noticed that whenever there's any big news, especially from the White House, they announce it on a Friday because nobody's paying attention. Everybody's getting ready to go party and go do things for the weekend. So the weekend's kind of a dead area.
Yes, indeed. And you know what? I skipped too far up. So let me go back. My apologies.
You want to go to Nicole Moore?
Yep.
They're charging one count. Yeah.
Yep. But more charges to come. Yes, indeed. And never trust son of man, King James. How you doing? It says West Coast, Canada. How you doing? Christopher Bogarty says the Most High said to always have your sword, read your Bible. Yes, indeed. And Tanya, you say, I believe in the Bible, not to hell with it. No. And Mr. Coffee says, sorry, but we need to stop thinking like this. Deadshot, how you doing? Angela says, I get profiled all the time in white spaces. That's why I'm so savage about them being in ours. Good point. Let's see who else is on here. Who came new? I hate dogs. Don't let Donovan let you hear that too loud. Thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. I don't know if Donovan liked that comment though. Let's see here. Ruben Rubenez, you say, dude, who you gonna vote for? A wasted vote? Facts not feeling, say missed it. And I say your last name. It says I haven't seen it. And Collins, how you doing? He says, while under segregation, Black folks had their own schools, hospitals, bus companies, tax firms, shops, sports leagues. I could go on. All segregation done took away all of this. Yep, we went and did what they wanted to do, right? All right, so I feel like I'm really, really behind, so I'm going to catch up. And Kiki said, who's Simone Sanders? She worked for the Biden administration and got used, and they sent her to the back of the kitchen, and the rest is history. Malik, how you doing? Says salute to both of you and your channel and your chat room, and thank you so much. We appreciate you for being here. And I'm gonna catch up all the way to the bottom. LL, how you doing? Donovan, let me know if I skip past somebody. He says, hey Queen, love your hair. And King, hello, thank you so much for the compliment. And Micah, how you doing? He says, if justice is fair, they need to go after his parents because those guns are basically military style. He couldn't afford it. Yeah, so I'm sure we'll learn more about his parents coming up. Brian De Silva, how you doing? He says, nothing Caucasians do to Black and people of color surprises me. Not at all. Pioneer says, it's the numbers of Afro-Americans that I believe are dwindling, not the numbers of white folks. The tricks they use is to count a lot of people who are white as non-whites, like many Latinos and Arabs. Yes, indeed. Their numbers are starting to dwindle, and the country is starting to turn more brown. So that's kind of what they're afraid of.
Well, how many of you guys remember Joe Biden, just before he took office, was telling all these so-called black leaders that you need to work with those Hispanics because they're ahead of you now? That's what he was talking about. I mean, in his demented state as a white racist, he knows he has to look out for his people. Thus, he doesn't do anything for black people.
Yep. And Paris Dunbar says, did you guys talk about what the shooter said, how white people are dying out? That's why he shot those people. Yes, we did. But he did say that in his manifesto. And I need to get a hold of it so I can read it. I don't really know if I want to, but I feel like I should. And hey, CG, how you doing? And I hate when these comments, they weren't doing that before, but they're skipping.
You got a lot of folks. You got a lot of folks.
Yeah. Okay. Ricky Mackey says, I honestly think we need to just quit playing their political games and stop being afraid to disappear. Literally everything has been a trap, a lie, a joke or experiment. Stop talking about getting guns and going to war with them. That's ridiculous. The United States ruined Iraq in 5 days. Afro-Americans wouldn't be able to take Iraq in a war for 1 day with the shape we're in. More than half of Black people got intimidated into getting the COVID-19 vaccine, knowing damn well we were never. Your comment cut off, but Ricky said the same thing that that I say and that I think. I mean, it sounds good, but are we really prepared to do that? And Yanni, how you doing? He says, "Good evening, y'all." Yes, indeed. And Kid Gravity Beyond, he says, evening to you as well. And Axiom, I hope I said that right, Revolt, how you doing? He says, but blame it on me. You want us to blame it on you? Okay. And who else? Big D, Cali Love, how you doing? He says, immediately after white boy shot and killed someone downtown LA, that never happens. Yep, there was a shooting in downtown LA. It was at, I forget what it was, some market or something yesterday. Crazy, right? And let's see here. Damien says whitewashing on steroids. Yes, indeed. And CG says, and had the nerve to plead not guilty. Right. It's like, come on, man. With all that we see. John Caesar, how you doing? Says, hello. I think they won't say nothing because the shooter is, he says, Azov, Ukraine fanatic, and the Yertet apple of the media's eye. Okay. Is that what he is? And guns, butter. How you doing? Says, to hell with hallelujah. Pass the ammunition. You said a mouthful there. Freight Train says, we are the untouchables. We are not a protected group. And Tanya say, right. World News, he says, Mayor Byron Brown. Yes, that's his name. Mark Wilson, how you doing? Says, church shooting in California today. 1 dead, 4 critically injured. Damn. Who else is on here? Mark Bruce Wayne Brown, how you doing? Mary Evans, how you doing? Daniel Cameron, yes, you guys are saying Daniel Cameron. That's the name of the Attorney General there in Kentucky. That's supposed to be what's the turkey neck dude's name? It slips my mind.
Who's that?
The senator. It's got the turkey.
McConnell. Turtleneck. Say turtleneck. Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's see.
Bootlick Daniel, who's married to a white woman, by the way, recently got married to a white woman. He's running for governor.
And you know what? In that racist state, he will probably win. And Miriam Bilal, how you doing? Says, when will we get protection? So in the word, no, by design, our lack of protection is meant to instigate a civil war. Each of these extra judicial killings of our people is designed to inflame racial tension, like even more. And let's see here. Manolo says, we will see our ammo when will protect you from the coming nuclear strikes. Pioneer says, I think a lot of our people push this stuff to cover up their laziness and cowardice. They don't plan on protecting themselves, so they constantly look to some benevolent white man to save them. I agree with that. Robert J. Carmichael, how you doing? It says, and we need to eliminate feminism. Not a feminist here, so you ain't got to worry about that. Let's see. Bugani, how you doing? Yes, Daniel Cameron. Oh, wow. Am I that behind? Saul, how you doing? He said, our captivity is ending. Ahaya has redeemed Jacob. And Tyrell, how you doing? He says, where is the anti-Black hate crime bill? like the one the Asians got last year. Inquiring minds want to know.
And isn't it funny? The Asians got a bill because two senators said that if we don't get a bill, we're going to obstruct all of your stuff. Two senators in the Senate had that kind of power. Now, if Cory Booker, one senator, he has the power to uphold all of that because the Senate is 50-50. But does he do it? No. He universally votes the way Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer tell him to vote.
And Asians are the richest group of people in America. So where there's money, there is power. And Trump, Maine, how you doing? He says we got to protect ourselves and get the rest on code and stay on code. Black First Foundational Black Americans. Yes, indeed. And Tim Daniel, how you doing? He says we must provide our own protection instead of waiting on them because this will happen again if we don't retaliate.
Y'all be careful. And here's something you guys got to also remember too. A lot of us are our parents were civil rights era parents, and a lot of you guys are grandparents were civil rights grandparents, and they bought into the idea of this benevolent white man. It makes no sense if you've lived through the 1990s or you were born in the late 80s and the early 90s that you do not have a gun to protect yourself. That makes no sense as a Black person that you do not have one.
Yes, indeed. And Complex Blackness, how you doing? Says, I've been telling Black people to get prepared, be alert. Absolutely. Watchman, 117, how you doing? Says, how come y'all didn't say anything about the Milwaukee incident? Do you have an agenda? Do tell, if you don't mind. Pioneer says, no, Queen, I'm not blaming the victims at all, but I am blaming the Black community of Buffalo not ready. Didn't expect it. How can any Black community not expect for something like that to happen? Well, the Black security guard tried what he could do. I mean, he had a gun. What else did you really want from those people? Like Pioneer, like honestly, what else did you want an 86-year-old woman to do? Yeah, what else did you want her to do?
Yeah, and then remember in the 90s here in California, Demetra, where they had those bank robbers, they had all that body armor on, and it took a whole platoon to bring them down. I mean, so what can you do at that point? Because nobody usually does that.
And Donovan has been 24 years in the military, so I think he knows a little bit about that.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, it's kind of hard when a person is shelled up. It's pretty tough. And you don't know it. I mean, you're just shooting because, you don't know. And some of this armor, especially the Kevlar, is so thin now that you wouldn't even think a person has any body armor on at all.
Linda Hines, how you doing? He says he was brought up in a home where he heard the N-word all the time, starts at home. Yeah, he did have it on the end of his gun. And Prince Caesar 27, he says shooter's parents work for New York State. New York State. Okay, so they got some good jobs, huh? And No Dice, how you doing? He says civil rights replace our autonomy, self-governing is what they were afraid of. Yep, and we fell right into it. Rich John, how you doing? Says reparations now in order to get the proper protection and security in place. Yes, indeed. And Rollmaster, or R-O-E Master, I think it is. How you doing? It says they would never come to Chicago or St. Louis. Yeah, and that's what somebody else said. They said they didn't go where, they would really have some issues, right? They went where they know people probably were just going to be doing their thing Saturday afternoon, right? And who else is on here? Came on here.
And real quick, isn't Buffalo where that mayor was removed, that female mayor was removed for corruption or something like that?
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, let me get back to my comments. I'm going to get to the end. You guys watch. I am going to get to the end, I think. Jewel Niles, that's where I left off. Dimitri, he said, Dimitri, can I have you any comments on this from your favorite friend, Obama? I haven't seen, that's an inside joke. I haven't seen Obama say anything. I don't know that he has not, him or Michelle. I don't know. Haven't seen it trending because usually when they do, everybody's like, oh, the Obama said something. So I don't know.
Well, what we got to do is we got to go low when they go high and, whatever, how we do it. We got to forgive those that spitefully use us.
That's not what we're doing. Hello, Disavow Podcast. She says 2 Timothy 3:2. Sunlight says, how does anyone know the race of the perpetrators in Chicago? They never have any evidence. Remember, exactly. And, it's been a lot of speculation that, is it us or is it them folks, right? Reginald Griffin, how you doing? Says, this is fun and games for white people. White versus black is a rivalry to them. If we ever got a hate crime bill, how many of them would commit suicide if they couldn't harm black people. Well, I mean, I don't want to say they can, but they will, but at least they'll be held accountable, right? And I mean, I don't know how much more protection it will be, but just to me, act like you care. Biden, Congress, act like you care. Act like, black people have been through the most in this country. Y'all still don't think that we should be protected. Just pretend.
Wait. Is the financing banking committee back from their vacation in Barbados, I think? Are they still down there?
Well, when you get back from the vacation, you got to take another vacation because the vacation, kind of was draining. Elijah.
For all you guys that don't know, Maxine Waters and a few black congressional females are down in Barbados talking about banking issues on your tax dollars.
Yes, indeed. Sunlight says, whoever is talking about Chicago, shove it. Elijah, I hope I say this right. EJ, Terrible Russ, how you doing? He says, I saw the video of the massacre. I hope this man gets what he deserves. Yeah, I know they were trying to scrub it from online. I know, somebody out there has it. I hope I don't see it because I don't want to see it, but I do want to look at the manifesto for journalistic reasons. Sylvester Boston, how you doing? He says, you have to protect yourself. Okay, so 2A is the Second Amendment. Duh. Second Amendment, absolutely. That it's all right? Facts Not Feelings says blacks in Chicago's are an internal colony like some Caribbeans or South American colonies. Okay. And let's see. Kara's rant, how you doing? It says, thanks for holding this space. I feel like there is a huge disregard for our suffering black unarmed people are killed daily and these serial killers are taken in without incident. F out of here. Absolutely.
Oh, let me ask you guys this. And for those of you guys that live in those neighborhoods that is protected by the red or the blue, y'all need to go to these guys and start telling them, hey, look, you guys are doing what you got to do. You guys claim this neighborhood. Y'all need to start protecting it too.
Yes, indeed. And Parthram, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says, hey, fam, this is not a boy, but a man. Yep, he's a man. We're not going to let them try to sell him to us like he's a boy.
Innocent, doesn't know what he's doing.
Mental issues. Nah, man. And Deneen Grant, how you doing? He says, funny how the police didn't fear for their lives. Yeah, because they saw commonalities like, oh, you one of us, right? And Seth Marie, how you doing? Let's see here. Lady Rule, hashtag ADOS, Black First. How you doing? Say exactly. Sam, how you doing? Ebony Lamb, how you doing? Tara, how you doing? And Zarian, I hope I said that right. He says Dylan Roof. And Feeding Frenzy 91, how you doing? He says, hello all, God bless all. Back at you. And Sylvester, you say, wow, the same bird thing is cool. Yeah, that's what they are. Republicans and the Democrats are different, but that's what they do. And in the Communist Manifesto, it talked about that capitalism really is at the top of all this politics and racism and all that. They throw that in to keep us all talking about other things other than the 1%, the robber barons, if you will, getting away with all the money and jacking up the prices on us. And like sheeple, we just go along with it, right? All this other stuff is a distraction. But
eventually, eventually when the people get so poor, which is what you're seeing right now, it happened in the French Revolution. It happened in the Russian Revolution. They're going to start killing the bourgeoisie and the people that have it. So these people better start waking up and start passing the wealth out, or history will repeat itself.
Yes, indeed. How you doing, Greg S? And Scott Ziegler, how you doing? You say best to go back to the mud hut motherland. Okay, I don't know how to take that comment, but okay. I've been to the motherland and I didn't see any mud huts there. It looks better than any white neighborhood you will ever think you could live in. Trust and believe. And if Africa is such a shithole as they try to make you
why don't they leave?
Well, why is everybody trying to go and control it?
Right.
Why is everybody trying to go stake their claim there?
Right. And the white people that have been there, why don't they leave?
Yes, indeed. And Eli, how you doing? You say he's so right. And Seth Marie says they can't get around this hate crime. The message was on his racist bomb gun, shaking my damn head. Yes, indeed. Surely was. For all to see, right? And Chris S, how you doing? You say, so if you're white, you're automatically an enemy. I wouldn't say automatically, but I think when when we're in Black spaces, we talk about things that are Black, how to uplift Black people and really Black liberation. So when you hear us talk like that, and I don't know if you're white, I'm assuming maybe you are. It's not about you. It's about us, if that makes any sense. And Samsung J7 star, how you doing? He says, boy, catch one. Okay. Who else came on here? Mark Wilson, did I read your comment? He says, and how you doing, by the way? He says, I'm disgusted with all the killings of innocent people. So many mentally ill people in this world destroying lives. Some of them are mentally ill, but some of them are fully aware of what they're doing. I mean, if you got a manifesto, it sounds like that's a plan. You know what I mean? And Son Kisser, he said exactly what's going to happen to this mutt. He will be rich. Oh, yeah, especially if he gets off, he's going to have all kind of people giving him money. And Franklin Mills, he said he will get plenty of donations. Yep.
Yeah. And you guys got to think about this. If there's a bunch of white people that have infiltrated the police department, just like we saw in the Derek Chauvin case, you have a outright racist judge in place. And in the other case with the lady cop that got 3 years, they've got these people in places to where they're getting the bare minimum of what an average black person would get. So they have nothing to worry about. They have the people in place. We have people in places too, but what are they doing? Prosecuting to the fullest.
William, how you doing? He says, we will get protection. He says, why we can't protect ourselves like those sundown cities do? We can. We just need to get on the code, right? And Missy C, I hope I said that right. How you doing? You say deflection and distraction, the only first degree. Okay. And I'm just looking to see. Land Rollins, how you doing? Damn it, it skipped up. Let's see. Land Rollins says, I know what site still has the video. Uh-oh.
Yeah. People are just talking today. I mean, and it's kind of good because a lot of people, we didn't talk like this years ago. Now we're talking on a national level. We're talking as one people, and I think that's a good thing.
Yes, indeed. And your boy, Roy, how you doing? Yes, indeed. I did hear about those shootings in California at a church, nevertheless, right? But that's not rare to us. Dylan Roof and Dorothy, you say, I hope to retire in another country. They don't honor the old or the young. The cost of living is outrageous and the crimes are heartbreaking. I don't want to be elderly in America. Me either. And Ren Facts, how you doing? He says, shall we get out and vote? Not for more oppression. Black Fox 7, he says, and how you doing? He says, protection from who? Well, as the Asians are a protected class of citizen, what about black people? What about us? And let's see here, go to the bottom. And Kerr Paul, how you doing? Says people need to protect themselves with the Second Amendment. So yes, that is an overall narrative here in the chat. Since we started that, Second Amendment is the way to go, baby. Rick D, how you doing? Says many of the flee from America comments are from foreign tethers. Okay. Tatum says read mine 100%. F current politicians, they don't care because they go to gated communities, have security, and do backroom deals with the people that destroy us all day, every day. And Wanta Rose, how you doing? He says, we already own our land. Okay. Just trying to see who else came on here. Brother Reggie, how you doing? And Manolo says, no flee. America is our homeland. Most High will protect his own when nukes fly. Any day now. Rixie says, when we mention black on black crime during times like this, it shows a lack of understanding. Yeah, I mean, because it's not needed right now because we don't want to cancel out what was done by the white supremacists. Street Strong, how you doing? Says, little known fact is that World War II Nazi. Okay. And E.L. Stokes, how you doing? It says domestic terrorism. Where are the federal charges? Yeah, they investigating. And Macaroni says, why would we leave America when our ancestors built this country? White supremacy is global and going to Africa won't stop white supremacy. We must fight and face it head on. But, who was it that made that comment about Iran? I think it was Pioneer. Are we prepared to fight? I mean, what do y'all disagree with the ideology of Marcus Garvey when he says, let's get out of here? Do y'all disagree with that?
Nope. But wait. But where are you going to find a better home than you get here?
No. And Colleen say, FBAs, you got to realize that The white supremacy lie about your numbers. If your numbers were as low as they say, why do they need your vote so badly? They need our vote. When we say they, we mean the Democrats. They can't win anything without black people.
Right. And the reason why is because we universally vote 98% Democrat. That's the problem. We vote overwhelmingly in the Democratic Party, where other groups don't do that. In last election, it's already been statistically proven, and they've already put the numbers out. 46% of Hispanics voted for Trump. Half Asians voted Republican. We are the only group that basically almost 100% voted Democrat. So if they lose that block, they can never win an election again.
Yes, indeed. And Carla, how you doing? Says, I'm done with America. It's time. And how you doing, Lily Phillips? She said, exactly. And let's see here. Gia, how you doing? He says he was being sarcastic. And who is this? He. And Kiana, how you doing? He says, that's what the voting rights is really about. In the small print, they want illegals to vote. Yes, indeed. That's what they're setting it up for. And let's see who else is on here. Edward Highland, how you doing? He says something happened in Los Angeles yesterday downtown. Yep, I heard about that last night. It's really extremely crazy times. And Chris S. Who says, did you think long and hard when you voted for Biden? I didn't vote for Biden. Not me. Miss Deborah, how you doing? Says reparations, then separation. That would be ideal. Yes, indeed. And Jewel Najee says, Demetri K, any comments on this form? On this from your favorite? No, not from Obama just yet. I don't know. I haven't seen if he said anything or not. Oops. Lone Wolf, how you doing? And let's see, I have Lyle Carter. He says, everyone on Black Wall Street got killed. Not everybody, but a lot of them did. And the survivors, I think it's like 3 or 4 of them now, they're still trying to get reparations from Oklahoma. Now, I can't remember who it was. Some people did come together and give them like $1 million or $3 million a piece, but they're still waiting for their money from that of Oklahoma. And they'll continue to wait, right? All right, so I'm going to actually, and Marshawn, the Disney Diva, how you doing? Long time no see. Who else is on here? Bernice, how you doing? Says fasting and praying. And riboflavin folate, how you doing? Says all these shootings will take place in areas with strong guns control laws, aka soft targets. Yep, and that's what they said. He was looking for, a soft target. And Trey Brush, how you doing? Says, maybe I'm behind in social media content, but we need more live streams among our people like this. Good job in content. We African Americans have to get to the table more now than ever. Yes, indeed. And we like to have this space so that we can, talk amongst each other, because we don't necessarily get to do that, right? And I also believe iron sharpens iron. We learn from y'all, y'all learn from us, and, we should be better from that point. And let's see who else is on here. Big Rich, he says, most major cities have buyback gun programs. That's intentional to leave us defenseless. Yes, indeed. And how you doing, by the way? Jay, how you doing? Says the only time we had any sort of progression was when we had towns like Black Wall Street. Why don't we go back to what works? We are in danger being integrated. We just need protection this time. And that's the point that I'm getting at. We do need something like everybody else get. Why are they special and we're not, right? And Asiatic born, how you doing? Says not segregation, separation. That's the word we looking for. Dub Deuce, how you doing? Says when Black Wall Street was happening, Black people had much stronger families. Broken families is our number one problem. Yep, we need to get the Black man and the Black woman back together, and we can start from there. So I absolutely agree with you. And Velvet Jackson, how you doing? Long time no see. Says neighborhoods in Chicago are mostly separated by sociologists and economic conditions. Okay, and you are in Chicago, so you would know. And Mary Evans says, or CBC, they're trash. Yes, indeed. Tanya says, oh, so you're replying to somebody. Big D Cali Love says Asians didn't get no protection an hour ago, but they got it really, really quick. Facts Not Feeling says we need a national militia organization. And Denise King, how you doing? Says, why would they protect when it's an agenda? Absolutely. But so then we stop showing up and giving them what they want, and that's votes so they can go continue giving us moral pressure, right? We got to be smarter than that.
Let them go get the votes from the Asians and the Hispanics. We need to sit this out. Why should we continue to vote for our own oppression?
Yes, indeed. Hello, record player. How you doing? And JB Johns, how you doing? It says we can only protect ourselves until then. Mm-hmm. And Damon says, what's this weed crap, Mr. Mayo? Exactly. That's all like, who you talking about, Biden? Who's this weed? Cecil, how you doing? It says, there are scores of towns across America buried under lakes. Someone named after so-called Black people. Okay. I'm going to get to the bottom, y'all. I'm going to get to the bottom. I'm trying not to skip.
20 seconds.
That ain't going to happen, brother. Nubian Crystal, how you doing? If I skip somebody, I'm sorry. I'll try to get to the next comment. He says, appreciate your time and energy to inform us and wake us up to this horrific world against us. It is my pleasure. And thank you so much for being here. And who else? Queen E says, help me to understand how voting is going to change things for us. It hasn't helped us in the past 10 years. Well, since the 60s, really, right? Yes, indeed. And Nubian Crystal, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. Yes, indeed. All right. And who else is on here? Diane Harris, if I didn't already. Hello, how you doing? He says, plain evil. Yes. And Kevron, how you doing? He says, 50 million. Why not farm your own political? I think you meant form your own political party. That would be ideal. But guess what? We can't divorce ourselves from the Democrats. We think that is our party, but it's not.
That's why you can't trust these old Negroes. You can't trust them.
Stop it. Brother Jonell, how you doing? I was wondering where you were. Riboflavin and folate says our people were taught to forgive their enemy through Christianity. Yes, indeed. And who else do we have that I did not read? Wesley Hudson, how you doing? Says, get your guns, Black folks. Yes, indeed. I skipped it. Damn. Because I don't want to make sure I don't skip anybody. James Page, how you doing? He says, it's everyone for themselves. And Grace Richardson, how you doing? Says, voting bills won't work. Okay, so I think I caught up. All right, going back. And Spike Loomis says, no law will save these people. Cut the check. Yes, we want our money. Bernice said, the Father said he would turn from us for 400 years because if our ways, read your Bible. Yes, that's what it says. Pink Blue, how you doing? Says, vote Booker out of office if he is not helping Blacks. And he's not. I mean, he's a big time corporate as well, but he pretends he has these sound bites and stuff too. Cries when Black women are getting nominated for the Supreme Court, but that's about it.
Alex, we got to vote. Didn't y'all say that having Kamala is going to make a difference? Isn't that what they told us?
Who is this y'all?
Isn't that what the Sororos and people were telling us to do? Oh, Kamala, when she get in there, it's going to be different because, Black girl magic is going to just do it all. What happened?
Yes, indeed. Mikey G13 said, Nas, when I was saying the world is yours. Let's see. Am I getting to the bottom? Am I getting close? Reparations now. Yes, indeed, Wesley.
Getting close.
I'm getting close. Mark, you say Black Lives Matter all day long. Not the organization, but the actual Black Lives. John ETA, how you doing? Says he wrote, here's your reparations on his gun. Is that what happened? Samuel Murphy, how you doing? Said nobody's coming to save us. It's going to get to the point where we're going to have to fight or die. Yep. We're going to get rope-a-dope so bad to where we're really going to have to say, okay, this is it. Damon says, do you really give a F what Obama says? Nah, because it's going to be more BS, right? And yes, Brother Reggie, tell him, hit the like button if you would. I love and appreciate you for that. And Pioneer says, break him out of the squad car and give him the business. I'm not surprised the police let him leave the scene without a scratch. I'm looking at why that Black crowd let him.
Because we have been trained by the civil rights era to be nonviolent and turn your head when somebody's cracking you across the skull. There's something benevolent in letting somebody just take your life.
Yeah, but again, until we've been in that situation, it's easier to kind of say, well, this is what we should do, right? I can't pronounce your name, but you say, oh, did you see that guy had a patch of the Ukrainian Azov battalion on? That is a Nazi. I saw something about it, but I didn't read too much into it just yet. Mr. D.
Yeah, and speaking of Ukrainian, do you guys know that the House, the Democratic House, just approved for additional $40 billion, your tax dollars, going to the Ukrainians, and also approved, I think it was, I don't know the exact number of Ukrainians to come here to the United States, where your tax dollars will fully fund them living wherever they're going to live.
Yep, Mr. D's News, how you doing? He says, we all we got. We have to start looking out for each other, arm ourselves. Yep, absolutely. Sandra J, how you doing? He says, we absolutely have to fight fire with fire. And Queen Niles says, Black people, FBAs have got to stay strapped, locked, and loaded. Keep your heads on a swivel. God bless Foundation of Black Americans. Black America, no forgiveness. Yeah, nah, we're not running around talking about we forgive you, right? Even though I've seen some Black pastors talking like that and Christians, it's like, what's wrong with y'all? And Denise King says, that Black man that murdered those people on the subway, he wasn't jumped by cops. So he said he wasn't jumped by cops. Well, they had to find him first, right? If what I understand. They didn't just catch him right away. And Tahiri, how you doing? You say, white people should be heartbroken about this tragedy, but they're not. It's business as usual. No, they're not even really talking about it on the news at all. And Godspeed, how you doing? It says, where is the Black hate crime bill? Democrats, you are quick to do it for the Asians when they weren't even being targeted, just words. Black people actually being targeted and killed. No hate crime bill. Very good point. And JB, that dude, how you doing? Says they don't think we need protection because they see us as savages and animals. They always talking about how we kill each other, but never how other races do the same. Yep, they always want to use that as a, what about Black on Black crime? It's like, okay, here we go. Thank you so much, Queen. I love and appreciate you for that. And Chico Duffy, how you doing? Says Obama ain't gonna say anything. He's a your comment jumped up. Sorry about that.
Well, he's going to say, pull your pants up, goddammit.
Stop it. Or you say he's a relative of the Bushes, so what will it matter? And Dick Cheney, for one, understand. Hello, pretty girl. How you doing? And Al, how you doing? Says, if you read all the comments, you won't get to talk about the next subject. I know, right? And let me get to the next subject. I'm going to get to the bottom, y'all. And everybody's on here that I did not be able to read your comment. I'm going to try to get to them next time. But so far, I see everybody. Hey, Carlos, how you doing? So the answer is until you show us something different, you are the enemy. Yes, indeed. And Shashamin, how you doing? I just want to kind of try to acknowledge people I didn't see. VJ Brick, how you doing? And Frank, how you doing? David Taylor, how you doing? Amawali the Elder, how you doing? Thank you so much. I am going to read this comment. You say, Sister Demetra, I love your mind and intellect. I heard you going in on Brother Donovan about the feminism and welfare exaggeration regarding Black females. Hey, Donovan, Demetra, lit you up yesterday.
No. As we know, a Black man can't say nothing when it goes against the woman agenda. So I let her have that. It's no big deal.
Nah, brah. Remain confident one. How you doing? Renee Henderson, how you doing? All right, so let me go ahead and just get all the way to the bottom. Y'all, please forgive me that I was not able to acknowledge everyone, but I will try next week. I promise to try to acknowledge everybody that I can. Deagitator, how you doing? Angie D, how you doing? Arson, how you doing? You say you just showed up. We are doing well. How about yourself? Nika, how you doing? He says, where's BLM? They're trying to, they're getting lost in that $6 million house.
Well, they could go after some additional funds, though.
Yes, Brother Jonell says separation is empowerment. Integration was given to take away the power and make white sovereignty and power via the illusion of inclusion. Yes, indeed. Midwest Outsider 707, how you doing? All right, I'm going to get to the bottom. I said that like 50 times already. I'm going to get to the bottom. Guess what I did? I got to the bottom. I know I skipped a whole bunch of comments, but I did it. Tahiri says, I appreciate the channel, this program now today in the chat, even the white trolls who help expose white supremacy terrorism. Yeah, they going to be who they are. They can't help themselves. Unfortunately, that's who they are by nature. Harp, how you doing? Says, dang, y'all on fire. Is this real life for us? I believe so. So anyway, really quick, I just kind of want to talk about the whole little, the formula shortage that's going on. So there's a company called Abbott Laboratories. They produce about 42% of the baby formula. As you guys know, there's a mad baby formula shortage, and people can't find it for their children, right? As I talked about just a second ago, Sheila Jackson Lee, and I guess some other people out here in Houston, they had people lined up for hours, like 7-8 hours to try to get two. I mean, the packets were like that big, 2 of them, maybe a little longer, 2 of them, 2 bottles of water and like another little bottle of formula. had those people wait in line for that, right? But I just want to say this. I only have one child. She's 29. She probably heard me tell you that. She's 29 years old. And I would say, as mothers, we do have the capability to breastfeed, right? And I know some mothers can't. For whatever reason, they don't produce enough milk. But ask ourselves this, Black people, because, this really affects us a lot. What was our grandmamas and them feeding babies before they made formula? And do y'all know why there's a formula shortage? Because that particular laboratory, Abbott Laboratories, they had some sort of a bacteria outbreak that allegedly killed and made 4 babies sick. So that happened in October. They were waiting for the FDA to come in and inspect. They didn't get there until January, and then they shut the laboratories down in March. And so that's why they are not able to produce it. So they said it'll be months before they're able to be up and running. Now, they have a lion's share of the market of formula. But the other thing we should be asking ourselves is, would you really want to buy formula from a place that had a bacteria outbreak and that killed 4 babies? So what else can we do to feed our babies? Can we, I know our grandparents used to do like pet milk and Cairo syrup and water. My sister-in-law, who was Panamanian, she said they I guess grind up beans and use the juice and use the liquid from that because it has a lot of nutrients and stuff and that. So there's other natural things we can do, but formula is not really that great for your babies in the first place. There's a lot of other additives and chemicals in there that they feed your babies. And so if you can give it to them from you, that's optimal. If you can't, figure out a way to make it. But this formula shortage is only the beginning. It is only the beginning because it's formula now. What next? And as our good friend Thunder on here, who is avid about gardening and all that other stuff, he always tells us to start get prepared. My dad, who is Nation of Islam, says store your water and your food, because if it's formula today, it's going to be everything else tomorrow. And what will we do if we are unprepared to even feed ourselves at best? But there's a documentary that I tell people about all the time. It's called The Century of the Self. Mm-hmm. You can get it on YouTube. It's free. It's a 4-part series, and it talks about how all of this is by design. When I say all of this, how the corporations have gotten a lock on things that we need for everyday life. They snatched our due for self. When I say our, I mean society as a whole. They snatched that away from us and made us dependent on all of their stuff. So here we are crying about baby formula. Like, what am I going to do? Well, what were they doing before that? So we got to educate ourselves and stop falling for the tricks of corporatist capitalism and the same thing, right? But all of them, because they're at the end of the day trying to make money on our ignorance.
Right. Dorothy Brandt says sisters need to make their own baby food. Just puree the food. Yeah, you got blenders and you've got the bullet and all that other stuff. That's a way to do it.
Yep. And Corliss, and I know Corliss knows because, she was making milk and stuff for her grandbaby. And she says, there are herbs we can take, baby. Get them Negroes off your boob, and feed these babies. He says coconut water, rice water is compatible to breast milk. Yeah. So you could drink rice water. It could be like sort of a rice milk. So there's a whole lot of things out there that we can do, but let's stop dependent on our oppressor to take care of us. They're not interested in doing that, right? So we need to educate ourselves, figure out and ask ourselves, what was our great grandmamas and them doing, to feed us and all of that. They weren't doing formula. They were using their own and they were making milk. So I don't know if that helps anybody.
And even a rice formula, you got a bunch of rice, you can do it with rice. I remember my grandmother used to use a little bit of rice.
I'm putting this in here so y'all can see it. The Century of the Self. I'm gonna put this up here. That is the name of the 4-part series documentary. It was from PBS, and they talked about how consumerism came about. And Edward L. Bernays, I talked to you guys about this a lot. Edward L. Bernays was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and they used public relations and psychology to get us where we are today as far as consumers. And here we are dumbfounded. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Well, maybe we don't have formulas. Like, are you high?
Yeah,
like,
and the biggest consumers that have been brainwashed in America are Black people, because they said, you know what? They might be some Negroes, but their dollars are green. So we are one of the most brainwashed group in the United States when it comes to spending our money.
Okay. So I see a lot of people have different things on here. What's good? Somebody says sea moss. Yeah, sea moss is good for everything, right? It has all the just about all the minerals that we need. So yeah, but I apologize, you guys, for everybody who's on here. Hi, DB, how you doing? Was not able to read all your comments, but we are going to get out of here. Love and appreciate you all. If you guys want to continue to donate to the channel, we have a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal crawling at the bottom here. And thank you all for who donated. Thank you to the members. If you guys want to become a member, you can do that. Very inexpensive. But we will be back here live, I think. Next Sunday's on day. Sunday's on day we do live. Donovan and I will have a podcast throughout the week. No, live Wednesday. Wealth Wednesdays with
Walter. Right.
If y'all have any comments or questions about financing or making money, saving it, all that, ask Walter. He's very eccentric, but he is the best at what he does. And so he is helping us with different strategies of making money and all of that. So Wednesdays at 5 o'clock Central Time PM, we will be back here. So if you guys have any comments or show suggestions, please hit one of us up, and we would love to talk about them here. So I want to
and then sometimes we do go live during the week if it's a breaking story or something that is of important. So be on the lookout. If something breaks and you think that it's something that we might come on live, we definitely will do it. But you know what? Instead of asking about when we're going to be live and stuff like that, hit that like button and subscribe, and it'll tell you when we come on live.
Thank you, Pioneer. We love and appreciate you. Damon and Remain Confident Warning says your diet should consist of vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds, beans, omega-3 fish. Yes, indeed. The healthiest food possible. So you guys be safe. Please keep your head on swivel and think about your Second Amendment rights. It is all right. Yes, hold the vote until we get something for it. See y'all later. Peace.